What? I'm so good!
He's now all silent in a 1v4. He takes 2. Down goes both. Can he stay alive? He downs another 1v1 on the Kento, and he wins it!
Clutch this round out for IF. He gets 2. That's the defeat. That's huge. Mikey, no, so
oh my!
To drop. We're Subarctic is sprinting around desperately, and we're going to overtime.
It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1-1/2 for Surf.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Playday number 2 for SCS Season 6. I am Lynx, joined by Benny. Our first matchup will be in Group number B today. Well, Benny, before we get to that, before we, get into all that, I always get excited. I want to talk about the matchup. I want to get right into talking about the rosters, not things like that. We do have some housekeeping to go over, so you should throw up some replays.
Yeah, yesterday's games. I watched a bit of it, and there were actually some really quick games, though. We actually ended quite early because there was some smacking to be done. First smacking was Dallas Vendetta on to Achieve. That was a quick 2-0 for Dallas Vendetta.
Yeah, and of course, if you're not aware, Dallas Vendetta used to be Investigation File. Not only did they pick up Newers in the offseason, they also, quite recently, picked up Kento from Aerial Arise, who will add some much-needed, and as you can tell, very valid aggression to that roster. Obviously, the 2-0 yesterday, looking very good for the new pickups, especially Newers, who had a hell of a day overall. Second game, though, as we will get to pretty soon, got to it pretty soon yesterday after the first game versus Achieved. It was between, coincidentally, Aerial Arise and Wichita Wolves, Kento's former team. Now, it's a little bit of a different roster. Keep in mind, there's some weird buffoonery going on in the quals with that roster, but still a 2-0.
Yeah, not quite the Aerial Rise you all knew from CL. A different stack of different names, all CL talent, CL caliber talent, and they showed us yesterday why they are. Another quick game. I'd say it was definitely closer compared to the Dallas Vendetta game, but still, they showed us that really you don't want to bring them to Coastline and Chalet because they have those on lock, despite being a kind of a pug stack in a sense.
I forgot about Courageous Carl 6. Forgot about that one.
It's his alter ego. Come on.
At what point does the alter ego just become the persona in and of itself? That's that and more. It's kind of like the Siege version of the ship of Theseus, but we'll explore those questions and more throughout the season and throughout stage number 2 for SCS. But first, again, as I mentioned, we have the replays. Now, let's take some more housekeeping. Let's take a look at the groups. Well, specifically, the Group B for today. As you can see, Aerial Arise, they already made it through to the winners game, as they won their game yesterday, 2-0 over Wichita Wolves, and now we're taking the other 2 teams for Group B, One Shot and Nocturnes, to see who will go play Aerial Arise and who will bump down to play Wichita Wolves. If you don't remember the format, all you have to do is win 2 best-of-3s, and you're into the playoffs. That's all you need to do, Benny, and yet
Easy peasy.
2 teams will have failed in that task come the end of the group stage.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You gotta go through and you gotta fight your way through, and if you can lose to depends who loses here, but yeah, Witcher will still have a chance they can beat whoever loses today and then beat the next team next week, whether it be Aerial Rise or whoever wins against them or loses against them, or wins against them. That'll be the decider match. That's how these groups go by. And yeah, we have one match today, another match later on today for 2 other groups, and we'll see who makes it to the next winners match.
Yeah. Also, Benny and I will not be doing that second game. We are only doing the first game. So for right now, you have us for One Shot and Nocturnes. Let's take a look at these teams. I mentioned I was excited earlier. Now we can actually get into the part that I look forward to the most. What are these teams? What can we look at going into this? Well, for One Shot, if you missed it, they got second last stage. So that was that's pretty good. However, it was not all the best. Their entries were noticeably weak amongst the teams, even Nocturnes, whereas Nocturnes might not have made it very far. They had a +9 overall. One Shot were sitting down to the -12, and we've yet to fully see if they fixed that, mostly because, well, we just haven't seen much of them since then. But that's one thing we need to look for going into today, is some better entry game in the early round. However, there is a bit of a buffer there, because while their entries have been weak, players like Swaylin are usually able to keep up that aggression into the mid, into the late round, especially on defense. So even if we still see that problem today, they have enough just good players in that roster to keep it up throughout the round and compensate for those earlier shortcomings.
I'm pretty sure all those players have a chance, and if given a chance, they will aggress and clutch around if need be, or if given the chance, given the opportunity. But on the other side, we have Nocturnes coming up today, the new roster that seemed pretty solid so far. Entry-wise, Slothy and Sykes looking great in our qualifiers. But again, it's only been a qualifier. They've only played certain teams, pug stacks, teams without the same resume or veterancy as the teams here in SCS Stage 2 or Season 6 Stage 2. So the sample size is a bit low. We don't quite know if they're going to be able to come to par with these other teams like One Shot, especially today, because they're under the new leadership of Poison. How is that going to fare against a team like One Shot, who's been playing so many different teams in the past, whether it be through SI Quals, CL, and recently everything?
Well, one also, just to add on a little bit, one criticism of One Shot, one question has always been their map pool, and for NOKTURNS, a new team, or not a new team, but with a new IGL at the helm, what is their map pool looking like? We'll have a guess today. First map on the board will be Coastline. Now, this is an especially curious decision because there was a rather infamous game that Super streamed during the qualifiers in which NOKTURNS and Outlast played on Coastline, and I believe he described it as the Chili's coloring book of Rainbow Six games. So we'll see if NOKTURNS have made improvement on that map. One Shot will go to Cafe. This is a map that they've done fairly well on in the past during the CL playoffs. This was IF's best map, and One Shot beat it on them in the playoffs. So clearly, something good going on there. And then our decider is Villa. This should be a fairly neutral map between both these teams. One Shot have banned it fairly often in the past. Also played it. Yeah. Honestly, Benny, 3-mapper? We have a 3-mapper?
It could be.
What do you think?
I think it really comes down to that first up in Coastline, because Coastline, to me, I know NOKTURNS, maybe they've practiced, maybe they've fixed some issues, but like you said, when Super costed them in qualifiers, and just the general structure of how a team runs, I don't see why they would pick this map personally. But again, that's on me. I don't know what's going on the inside.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you have a solid entry game and you want to get some momentum early on, if they think that Sykes and Slothy can not only get that early pick, but then they can then build off of it on Coastline into something better, maybe it'll pan out pretty well. Of course, we'll have to see and hope that that BO1 was a fluke. Clearly, we are all putting quite a bit of stock in One Shot as a good old reliable Ty. Good old Ty, always rooting for the underdog. He will be the only one going NOKTURNS' way. And, well, if you are also just tuning into SCS for the first time in this stage, you'll notice that wherever the wind blows or wherever the majority of us lean in predictions, you can be damn sure Ty is going really hard the other direction.
He's trying to be the outlier, but even then, like a lot of us, when we do, we've in the past, well, that was our best of ones, I guess. When we've cast these games in CL and we've all predicted one team, it's usually gone the other way. But hey,
that's true.
These are best of threes, so a bit different. It'll be interesting to see how. But again, this first map to me is the kind of the big point of what's gonna happen. If this map goes to NOKTURNS, I can see this going on with 3. But if it goes to One Shot, I can see this being done in 2.
Yeah, Coastline is a bit of a tricky one, but going back to CL playoffs, well, I mean, we had SCS, but going back to CL playoffs, One Shot on Coastline in particular wasn't the best. There's a pretty famous moment in which they won that first best of 3, and then they went to Coastline twice in their next 2 best of 3s, and they lost it both times. And part of the reason why they actually got knocked out of CL playoffs, and many thought they even had a chance to go on and win the whole thing. So Coastline does have a bit of a checkered history for this team. Moving into SCS as well, of course, they had a lot easier of a time, so we'll see which One Shot we see today. Will it be the One Shot in CL that very much struggled on Coastline for a good portion of their history, or will it be in like SCS where up until Surf, though I guess you could say eclectic a little bit, they didn't really have too much of a bumpy road. Though that actually might be underselling it a bit, Benny. They had a bit bumpier than I expected.
Yeah, I would say they didn't play as great as we thought they'd be, but at the same point, you could also argue because they're doing SI close quals or SI quals in the time. That's was the reason why, but it's hard to say. Maybe we'll see if it's still bumpy for them per se, because there were a lot of times we saw them play where it didn't seem like they were up to snuff, or they weren't playing maybe up to par like we saw during CL for whatever reason. So maybe will that be the same One Shot we see today? Because it is still what is SI close calls actually?
SI close calls, I want to be honest, I actually came out off the top of my head. I want to say no, it's not then. I actually don't know off the top of my head, so I'm not going to make up a date soon, and mislead all of you.
I'm pretty sure it's soon.
Oh no, trust me. The event is like in February. SI close calls are going to be soon. I promise you that.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to still see that. We're going to see the up to par One Shot if they're still, trying to either hide shot or just kind of warm up for SI close calls.
Well, if they're slacking a bit in game, Benny, if they're slacking a bit, you know what they could always use? The power up with Mike and Ike's. They wanted to. They could power up. You get some fruity candy. Eat them a little bit. Snack while you're in the map ban or the operator ban phase. Map ban's already happened, so operator bans was clearly the one I was looking for. and get a Mega Mix Sour. Actually, no, I feel like Mega Mix Sour would actually kind of like throw you off your game a little bit. That's when like
No.
Mega Mix Sour, that's like the home theater. It's like you sit down, you got to experience it.
You're not wrong, actually.
Whereas with Mega Mix and Original, that's when you kind of like, all right, I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I can see true with that, because if you eat the sour ones, I do like savoring it. I don't like just chewing it or just going at it. I like savoring
And
it.
he sits and stares at a wall. He's like, trying to like squeeze
Hey,
it
but
out
banning
through his
first,
pores.
think a ban, which we've seen it recently a little bit here and there, but not that much. But it is warrant enough to be banned in a sense.
I mean, obviously the nice thing about Coastline is both in terms of operator bans and operator picks, you can be a little bit more flexible. Think a ban in general is not something, again, as Benny said, that I'm used to, but on Coastline as well, you're leaving up some good operators like Nomad on the board. You're leaving up, actually, as a change to how the map used to be for a long time, some hard breaching on the board. Hibana or Maverick being two good examples. Hibana or Ace even. So leaving those up could be a little bit troublesome, but then we have Valkyrie taken down next. She's been a permaban on Coastline for as long as I have been casting this game. And then Wamai to round things out. Again, another common ban. Nothing all too crazy.
Does leave Mirror available, but Mirror on Coastline depends how you want to play it. Depends how the team plays playstyle-wise. Can be a powerful tool in the right hands, but again, some teams don't practice it, or some teams play in a different manner where Mirror doesn't totally help in that sense. So we'll see if they bring it out. But of course, we see one shot on the attack first. That's considered to be the preferred side per se, but we'll see how this match goes. Hookah and Billiards first for Nocturnes. We'll see if they'll be able to defend this site, as this site has always been iffy for me recently, but we'll see if they're able to do it or not.
This site has been iffy, but one thing I do like is a 6 pick from Sykes moving to the Oryx. Again, this is a nice little benefit of Coastline is on a lot of maps, say take Oregon, for example, you need to bring a lot of utility, right? You need your intel or your projectile denial or your shields, especially the latter two. And it doesn't leave a lot of room for any, maybe quote-unquote off picks. On Coastline, though, not really the case. Sykes says, you know what? What matters more on Coastline? Having, like, a bunch of shields or just having a good gun I can shoot with? That's exactly what Sykes is doing. He's like, you know what? I'll just run around. I'll try to get maybe a pick here or there, waste some time, just try to keep them guessing as to my position. And hey, if I get a gunfight, I have a good gun that I can use reliably. Sykes especially has been that primary entry on the attack for Nocturnes, one of the more successful players when it comes to aggression. I think you should be looking at him to see if he can make a play early on in the round.
I'm interested to see why he picked Oryx rather than, like, say, Vigil or something like that, really. But maybe it's because he wants to go through the hatches with that jump ability from Oryx. It's interesting to see. Again, T5 is a good gun. Great gun to be used on both Legion Oryx. But I will say it's interesting to see him pick that rather than something like Vigil to really drone out, deny those drones, or at least make it difficult to drone him out. We'll see how it works out. He's on the top floor right now, so maybe even the run ability, if he wants to run out maybe the balcony on, like, say, on on VIP or theater or something like that, if he wants to run out on somebody who's been playing that balcony. We'll see. So far it looks like that one shot are looking to take that penthouse area for the moment. They're gonna start droning things out. They're probably gonna see sites, of course.
No way.
There's no way, right? There's no way.
Are you kidding me? First round and we haven't fully droned
there's
theater?
No way.
He missed! No way!
No, come on.
There we go. Okay.
That's good.
Sykes is able to get the kill. I mean, starting out for one shot, we're already having a calamity of errors, not even fully droning out theater. We'll manage to go 1 for 1, thankfully. You lose the twitch, so you lose those shock drones and the smoke grenades, and you do take down Sykes. But here's Lackey and Slothy as well on 2 different floors, both creeping up to try to compensate for that, but Lackey will let some shots rain into the theater and then quickly back off, not wanting to overstay his welcome. I do have to say, though, Benny, again, starting out first minute, we're already not fully droning theater when you're attacking and pushing from penthouse theater side. I mean, that is an easy not an easy blunder. That's just a blunder.
Yeah, that's a mistake you wouldn't expect there, really, because that's just like you're pushing into penthouse. So why wouldn't you drone theater out? Make sure it's clear. There is someone below, though. Looks like there is a Malusi of Slothy below. It doesn't have a C4, though. Just kind of running around, maybe look to go for a flank. There's no man on the board, but maybe we'll test one shots flank drones at the moment. See how they're doing on basics. Somebody actually is droning from below, so they do see Slothy below white stairs. Somebody's watching that, maybe Swaylin will be watching it, or somebody will be, and so at this point, or just simply going to watch one of the drones. But at this point, it looks like it's going to go towards that site execute. And without any real hard, they brought the bond on, so they should be able to open these walls and start driving these defenders back.
Yeah, you can see they've already put quite a few X-Kairos on that pink wall to push anybody playing out from behind bar. That smoke has already pulled back, but Poison still has 3 of his toxic canisters, so now the attack is going for an Aqua execute. He's still in a solid position to try and choke off that double door. Maybe even land behind the bomb chassis, we'll have to see. Slothy also still contemplating a push up those main stairs. We saw Swaylin holding the flank earlier. Lackey, the C4 kill down below onto Storms, attempting to push in, but there's the flank drones. The flank coverage we needed to see. Right as Slothy peeks his head up, Swaylin cuts him down. Exod also moves and put down to 1 HP. Leave peeking Kilo all the way over outside of VIP. With 10 seconds left and the smoke grenades coming out, it's imperative that Quartz can cover. Kilo getting the bomb on the floor. 2 defenders have already fallen. So Kilo getting this bomb down not only seems likely, it seems even likelier that One Shot will be the victors of this round come the end of it. And there we go. Keelan prone behind the bomb chassis. Able to finish it off just after coming off that plant. Solid round from One Shot despite the early mistake.
Yeah, despite the early blunder, they still did make that round work out. But in the end, it's like, sure, early game, again, shaky from One Shot, but like we were saying before in the pre-show, mid to late round, it's solid. Able to have just, you saw flank drones, able watching the flank, they even had someone drone out, like someone like Slippery was droning out, not Slippery, Swaylin was droning out late in the round. Make sure they can just nobody downstairs, make sure nobody flanks them later on, catches that, Slothy on the flank and just has Slippery watch the flank drone, make sure we call it out and kill them when it comes for it. And then going for the plant. Unfortunately, the C4 was used earlier. Sure, it got a kill onto Storms, I believe, but now you don't have anything besides the smoke canisters to deny the plant. And it's not quite as easy these days to smoke out the person planting because they don't go through walls anymore. You have to place them in a correct position to then fall on that person planting. And you saw there, unfortunately, the smoke canisters were not placed correctly by NOKTURNS, allowing them to get the plant down. And even then, like, just the fact that site, if you open up that pink wall, it is so difficult to come back in the billiards.
Yeah, that's my big thing is, even if, sure, obviously, smoking, it's a little bit harder than it once was because it can't go through the wall, but the moment that X-Kairos opened up the position behind pink bar, Poison, unless he wants to play on that single reinforcement, which he decided not to, you really gotta be nailing your smoke tosses to try and knock Kilo off of the plant, and fortunately, given that position, wasn't really able to. They won't try hookah another time after that. They'll instead go down to kitchen. We'll see that mirror bending. See Poison bring it out.
Oh, okay. You see one of them facing towards blue bar, one facing towards service entrance. We'll see how they work out for the team, and it makes sense though, because especially with a lot of teams will go for that the first floor push. It looks like Lackey trying to get aggressive, trying to find somebody, and he's caught with his back turned as he tries to walk away from that engagement. It looks like somebody from NOKTURNS looking to try and trade back. It's Sykes, but he knows at this point there's too many members on that balcony. He's gonna back off back to Sunrise, see play the mirror or play that position. And yeah, that's some early aggression from NOKTURNS that wasn't warranted by any intel.
I'm actually a little bit curious. I don't know if anybody else I didn't see if anybody else from NOKTURNS was on cams, but it seemed like Lackey was just trying to like check his own run out, see if he should get aggressive.
Yeah. I think he was watching the default cam by himself.
But so maybe that's a bit of mishap in coordination, because maybe that play doesn't happen. Say you have somebody watching the default. We just saw Quartz. He was sending it up the hookah stairs. It's not like I don't think he even knew that Lackey was there. So,
well, again, the thing is, I guess the question is, can you even see someone go up the stairs from that camera from Ruins?
No, maybe not, but I don't know. I was more so talking about how Lackey was just kind of focusing on checking his own run out. That too.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice if someone on site was on the cam for him.
Well, either way, Lackey's dead, and no matter how much by Benny and I analyzing the situation, that nothing could change that. That's actually your only C4 down, as I believe. Oh no, actually, both of them are pre-placed?
Are they pre-placed? They have to. Yeah, pre-placed. Yeah, he's put it on the wall above him.
Yes, they are.
VIP. So that's be interesting to see how they play this out, because I guess it's basing off sound. Looks like they're gonna shoot through the floor, try and fight. Poison's taking a vertical fight against Storms. It's a difficult fight to be taking, but so far it's just it's one shot, just Kraden's execute. They've been doing so. They're enjoying so far. No fights. NOKTURNS going for any kind of flank or roam. So now we just gotta see if One Shot can transition to this execute in a little bit as they open the floor up.
Well, they don't have to worry about any C4s anymore, so they can open up this floor. I'd say about 80% in peace. Do still have to worry about, say, Poison just peeking you on one of those holes, so you got to be careful about that. Here we go. I finally see a NOKTURNS flank. We saw an attempted one previously, and now we see not only an attempt, but a successful one, at least momentarily. Slothy gets one kill and finally trades back Lackey's early death with a kill onto Slippery, but it's a 4v3, or a man disadvantage for Nocturnes once again. And odds are that Exod probably won't push his luck a bit too farther, though it's also difficult for him to escape here. Sykes also upstairs. It is a 1v4 on the site right now if One Shot were to even get one of these kills, but thankfully for Nocturnes, they're landing their shots. Sykes takes down Quartz inside of 90, and now One Shot, a little bit concerned. They have Storms upstairs, but there are two defenders currently trying to, well, hopefully dislodge him out of position once he gets careless. Kilo's made the entry into the site, jumped in with 10 seconds remaining. You have to worry about Poison, who's pulled out a garage, or pulled out a bathroom. They know he's in this position. Exod also up above can use these holes to the defender's advantage, but no defender can really get an angle on Kilo right now. Never mind! There we go!
What? There's somebody there!
Wow. There is just... Okay, Exod is just snuck in. He just snuck in, and Storms didn't see him.
What?
That is tragic. Wow.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say about that. Like, again, well, I do have to say, because in the end, more than anything, was just time. It seemed like One Shot get the advantage. They get the first pick because of Lackey being aggressive by himself, not having someone maybe drone for him or have the intel for him so he can make that play. And then from there, it's One Shot to then do the work. They have to then create the execute, because nobody from Nocturnes is playing too aggressive until later in the round. It comes that mid to late round, they start getting aggressive, taking flanks, which it was kind of a iffy one here and there. Again, this comes into question the flank drones from One Shot, because there are multiple different angles. Sykes is upstairs in billiards. We had two players go up white stairs to take fights. And while there was some trades, there wasn't anybody really aggressing to keep these flanks secure except for Quartz by himself. So they kind of led for, well, members to get aggressive, like Sykes, like Exod, to just walk into VIP and take that kill. So in the end, like, kind of questioning where One Shot was going with that play, because it seemed like they took forever to really create the execute in the first place.
Well, also, Storms clearly got tunnel visioned a little bit.
That's true too. But yeah, they were planting in like no time left.
No, but your point is absolutely fair. It is also funny though that Storms just didn't see him. He just did not see him.
He just walks into VIP. And
I don't really know how that happened, but unlucky, I guess. Next defense will be blue bar, so there will be an emphasis on vertical play here as well. So Storms, keep a better eye out on your doorways. Just be weary. Watch out.
He tased him in the knee. He can't run anymore.
Reminds me of that. I think it was like an achieved clip. It's like, Doc, 90 HP.
Oh, Storms, come on, hit the door.
Oh no. Bad vibes.
God. Anyway.
Bad vibes for this round.
Yeah. Either way, they're going to try to clear this top floor, because like we talked before, for this site, especially for Sunrise, for Blue Bar, getting control of top floor of billiards and huts and hookah is important. You use Sledge to work, and it looks like Poison's going to push up with another player. There should be a flank. It should be like a pinch here for both players to really try and stop Storms from pushing through. They'll slot the elsewhere. He takes out Swaylin elsewhere, who may have been pushing by himself. I don't know where Swaylin was even.
I'm not too sure either, but clearly somewhere over by the VIP area. Might have been a long angle into billiards, might have been pushing from his back, inside of guitar. Not too sure. But we do know Swaylin is dead, and that is unfortunate for One Shot. Thankfully, there's Kilo. He's moved over to that VIP balcony, cut off Slothy's rotation backwards, or his fall, and there we go. 4v4 even once again with over half the round remaining. Plus, One Shot have control of hookah, so they can start getting this vertical play if they want to. But again, Benny, they need to be worried about these flanks. Sykes still inside of Penthouse right now. Potentially some play up Cool Vibes or White Stairs to join Sykes if they want to. They need to be concerned about their back.
Yeah, I think that's good with the with Oryx. We've seen Oryx off Nocturnes now, and this is the perfect chance to be able to jump over those hatches and be able to flank. That's probably actually what Sykes did last round, though. It looks like Poison, trying to get aggressive on those Cool Vibe stairs, goes down to Storm. That's some aggression that you wasn't quite maybe warranted. Not necessarily warranted, but being orchestrated correctly by Nocturnes. There's nobody refrag. There's nobody there to take that fight with Poison. So he just dies for, I'm going to say no reason, but maybe no reason.
Well, and now there's also a lot more of a burden on Sykes to make a play upstairs. And, well, as we clearly saw, One Shot are aware that somebody might push this way. You have Slippery on the Twitch watching that vase. But oh no. Is the Oryx crouch? He's not spotted by the Twitch in time. Slippery's able to trade it out. Not before Sykes has some amount of impact on this round. The Sledge taken down as well. Could mean a lot, but One Shot have already done quite a bit of that vertical play. Exod will take a fight on Cool Vibe Stairs and miraculously loses it, and Nocturnes lose the round pretty soon after. Again, there were still some nice moments from Nocturnes on that flank, but One Shot kept a much better lock on their flanks this time.
Yeah, I would say it's interesting that Nocturnes so far haven't tried to engage at all early round. It's always been that mid-range round flank from Nocturnes. It's been, it worked out sort of in that second round on Kitchen Service and hasn't worked here on, didn't really work well on that Sunrise Blue Bar. So I'm interested to see, is it a play style choice to not try and engage early, just to back off? Because you see them quite often, they back off that roam. They don't try and engage early. They try to orchestrate it together in a sense. But in the same sense, we saw Poison just kind of go by himself up the side of Cool Vibes, and there was no one there for Rearfax. Sykes was in a position to take a fight with Poison, despite we're seeing Sykes able to jump up the hatch over by, lobby into penthouse and start flanking through VIPs. So some of those late game decisions by Nocturne seems to be sometimes questionable.
Nocturnes will make one decision in terms of what they should change going into this round. They'll put Exod on the Pulse. He was playing mute last time, so they lose a little bit on the intel denial, but they gain some intel down below. If he's able to play inside of Sunrise and Blue Bar, maybe to get some intel, could be good. I am interested to see where he plays, though, because we saw how quickly they took control of Hookah last time, and they more so had to fend off harassment from Penthouse, Theater, or Aqua. But they had the control in hand. Exod could use a C4 there, could even get some intel, but with how quickly One Shot were able to also get verticality soon after they got that control, I'm worried if he plays there, he'll be a bit uncomfortable pretty soon.
Yeah, I do get that too. It's like, it'll be interesting because they have, how many C4s? They have 1, 2, they have 3 C4s. So if they want to use that cardiac sensor on that kind of control, it would be early in the round.
He's playing Kitchen right now.
Yeah, unless they want to play it like they do right now, where they maybe want to see what other angles maybe One Shot's going for besides Hookah. But at the same point, the site's Sunrise and Blue Bar, though, so that Hookah control, Billiards control is the most important here. So I don't know if cardiac censoring Kitchen side is really important for his team. Maybe help out Slothy playing here by VIP in a sense. But looks like he's going between the two. So maybe to aid these roamers, because remember Slothy did get picked off by Swaylin last time. Not Swaylin, by Kilo on that balcony. So maybe just help out the roam, make sure they stay alive and not get flanked by members on One Shot. Hard to say.
Catch any mid-round movements by One Shot. Say, hey, Slothy Sykes, somebody's moved over to that balcony. Well, I don't know how influential Exod's play was there, as I don't think it was at all, but Lackey does still get the first pick onto courts. That's not Exod's fault. He just wasn't in the area of the map. That's all on Lackey for managing to get that kill. I've talked about how quickly One Shot were able to acquire control of Hookah last time, and, well, this go-around, it's not nearly been the case, but it seems more so that they aren't focusing on it nearly as much. Exod sends up one C4, and that's the second kill of the round, and if you wanted to get vertical play, Benny, not really possible anymore.
Nope.
Now that the sledge is taken down. It is a very important kill.
That's a huge kill just to make it difficult. Now they have to go for flanks, and this is where we're going to see something come out of One Shot to make this play happen now. As they're trying to throw grenades over by Poison and push him back out of here. He's going to take 2 grenades, survive both of them, stay behind the bar, probably kill Swaylin as he pushes through. Looks like he's just trying to walk through. Flash comes out, and there is Poison. He takes 2 for his troubles. It's a 1v5 for Slippery now, as this round has fallen apart entirely for One Shot.
Flawless round for Nocturnes, which so far, coastline defense, not looking too shabby. Not looking too shabby at all. Obviously, quite a few problems for One Shot in that round. As opposed to before where, they've been able to get something going. Even if they've lost the opening duel, they've been able to trade it out, or they get some early momentum, say, like round number 2. Court's taking down Lackey. With that go-around, none opportunity really presented itself. Nocturnes, maybe they still wanted to place an emphasis on the flank, but they were just saying, hey, we're in Penthouse Theater, we're in VIP. You have to clear us out. And One Shot were like, okay, we don't really want to do that, though. We're just going to sit over here in Hookah, do what we did last time, open up these floors, so on and so forth. But they never really progressed beyond that. Maybe it's because by the end of the round, they only had 2 drones left, and the round ended about 1:20, so clearly the drone economy was a bit lacking in that round. Maybe they weren't as successful in finding those roamers, and they wanted to clear them, but never really had the opportunity. Hell, maybe they just saw the pulse in the site, and they were worried about the C4, and they never really found an opportunity to take him down. But whatever it was, it caused One Shot to stall out immensely over the course of that round, and they were never able to compensate for that lack of momentum that seemingly happened early on. And also now, Benny, for Nocturnes, coming off a flawless defensive win on Blue Bar, they get to go to Kitchen, the only other defensive site they won. This is looking very good for Nocturnes to end this half 3-3 if they just replicate the success they had before, or even a fraction of it.
Yeah, hey, as long as they can replicate a fraction of it and get that round back, ending 3-3 would be perfect. Ending 4-2 would be great. But again, see what happens. And I definitely agree. It seems like, I don't know, maybe something there was a change from one shot, because I feel like there was a lot more emphasis on taking control of hookah that first time they attacked that site, and then the second time, Quartz was by himself pushing hookah that initial start. There was nobody with him. Storms went later on, get hit by the C4. So we'll need to see if this time if they're going to be sticking together on that entry, not allowing for just one person to go down without a trade. We'll see what happens here. We're going back to kitchen and service once again for Nocturnes, and this is a round where, yeah, they were able to take that control. They had an execute going on, but it took them so long to execute down, and in the end, it was 0 seconds getting that plant down, and Exod somehow gets into VIP, kills Planter, and that's the end of the round. Well, here, early aggression once again. Slothy, unfortunately, this time cannot make a kill. Quartz will be the one to take the opening pick this round.
Yeah, it was going to be a bit difficult for Slothy to get out of that one. Obviously, the door was open. There's a player playing there. There's a player at the window as well. So a lot of his cutoffs were unfortunately held. Exod will send a C4 up, but all Slippery really has to do there is just back up against the railing, and he can dodge it successfully. So, sure, C4 wasted, but I believe one is currently placed, and the other is still in the pocket of the defense. So, still plenty of secondary utility to make something happen later on in the round. Sykes will also drop down the moment Slippery decides to enter Aqua. So, again, some good time wasting on the roam. Even though you lost Slothy earlier, still not trying to lose a second body, which is always nice. And hell, if Nocturnes continue aggressing, they might get a second kill. Lackey, especially on this vertical hole. Oh no! Spots Quartz's head for just a second, but Quartz is unfortunately quicker on the trigger.
Yeah, that was a scary moment there. Seeing, looking at the top of the verticality, trying to find a head to shoot, and well, unfortunately, Quartz is the better trigger finger there. And well, at least this time they have the cardiac sensor and Exod, bringing the pulse a second time around. This gives you good info. And be able to coordinate those C4s, last running C4s, and poison Exod to deny this vertical play from Storms. Once again, we're down to that minute, and we'll see if we can get this plant done. But Poison, able to get a good pick on a Swillen, though. Slippery's there to refrag. So once again, good positions for one shot, able to keep the man count in their favor, able to trade back kill after kill, or even get kills without trading out. And now we go into this execute. Can they even do this? What does Nocturnes do at this point?
Well, they're really relying on Sykes, of all players, to make a kill right now. Exod inside of the site, odds are, unless he's able to get a kill through one of these holes opened up by Storms, he's probably going to be a player later on in the round, but that means it's really incumbent on Sykes playing off-site to make something happen. Nobody can probably retake upstairs like they did last time. He might be able to, but he walks right into Quartz, who's watching Cool Vibe stairs. So his presence offside now completely shut down. Exod even rotates out, playing for the retake now in a 1v4. Ooh. Does catch Quartz off guard. That's good. The man had the pistol out. Almost denies the plant. Just a couple seconds earlier, he would have had probably the goated pistol shot for SCS so far. Unfortunately, again, he's just a couple seconds too late. He's damaged both Storms and Kilo, though, or at the very least Kilo. So it's a little bit more manageable, but he's got to deal with a player upstairs, two players down below. Storm spots him, but Exod's his happy feet are able to dodge the shots for now, but it's Slippery inside of the site that does him in the end. Could still be a 3-3 half, and now it's one shot that's guaranteed that number as their worst case scenario.
Well, that round was definitely a similar situation for one shot when it came to time, but not when it came to kills. Able to not only get the opening pick on the Slothy, but get another pick onto Lackey as well. That was another great kill through the vertical. Lackey trying to get aggressive, take fights. And then from there, still able to get another pick onto, a trade with Poison. Still keeping it in their favor, despite people from Nocturnes trying to get aggressive, trying to take those fights. So it's interesting that I guess it seems more incumbent now really on that early round, every single round, which is I guess coastline for you really. That's literally the part of coastline is the early round is so important, that aggression between two teams, those engagements. And it seems like one shot, well, I guess when they win them, they take those, they go off that slippery slope and start taking one after another into the execute.
Did you say that because they have Slippery on their team?
Ha! Maybe.
You think you were clever? Think that was funny? Well, I'm here to tell you it wasn't. You should be ashamed of yourself.
It was like the in control pun I made.
That was good. That was fun. Final sight. Penthouse. They have not gone back to hookah at all so far. Lost it in the very first round. Didn't even want to try it. I mean, you said that site was iffy. Maybe they share your opinion. And it's not like Penthouse is bad anymore, especially with the change to the VIP wall. You can extend into VIP, hold it, with the addition of a mirror window as well, which used to be what made this site playable. makes it even better. So it's not a bad side by any means, but it does indicate that Nocturnes are like, you know what? We dislike Hookah so much, let's venture out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is definitely probably still a bit in the discomfort zone. They're a little out of the box, but hey, bringing something out of the box could prove to be good here. Now, default Cam is still alive, but it doesn't matter. He still can blow up Lackey. And Lackey, again, was on the cam himself. He gets droned out while on the cam and gets hit by a grenade. So again, why isn't someone from Nocturnes on the cam for Lackey?
Yeah. I mean, unless the nade could have been it could have been cooked by Gordon Ramsay, for all we know. And even if Lackey was off the cameras, he could have still died. It's possible. But, again, as Benny said, if somebody's watching that camera, they're helping Lackey make the play, he might see the drone. If he doesn't see the drone, he might see the nade, he might be able to react. It's, again, Nocturnes maybe a little bit of a solo effort by Lackey on this run. Not that it's bad. It's certainly not bad. But have somebody help you out. Have somebody watch that camera. Because now you've given them an opening pick. Nocturnes do still have 2 C4s, so could be worse, but one shot, they clear off one of those offsite players, and they can move to the site all that much quicker. Haven't spotted anybody just yet, but look at how much progress they made, Benny.
I see, yeah, they're just clearing blue. Make sure that you don't get C4 when they go to execute behind the sofa. Just doing the work,
There
and
you
that's
go.
a great another grenade from Storms. 2 in a row from Storms, and great intel. Slippery tacks onto the poison. Still one other player in VIP be wary of it. Sykes trying to help out his team, and now the Slippery Slippery Lux 4 is falling once again.
Yeah. Exod might be able to find a pick if somebody just pushes headlong into theater. No, it's actually Sykes to open things up. He is still alive inside of VIP, almost gets a second kill, but it's the final 2 kills that go 1 shots away. They get themselves a 4-2 half on attack, which, in all fairness, Benny, maybe this is a testament to Nocturnes, the way that started, it did not seem like a certainty.
That is true. That first round, I was, we were kind of wary at that point, but it's hookah billiards. They brought it back on kitchen, and then in service, yeah, the thing is, and then they even adapted and played better on that Sunrise Blue Bar attempt too. So still, I say it's not bad. It's 4-2. It's what you expect on Coastline, so nothing crazy for them. Now we're going to see how their attacks are, and like we talked about in pre-show, this is where the entry is going to be important, though. We've seen Slothy, we've seen Exile, we've seen Sykes do great on those entries during quals, but is that going to be the same against a team like One Shot, which so far it's been back and forth entries, though. Actually, we've seen Quartz, or not Quartz, we've seen Lackey, we've seen Sykes do well on the entry and defense. Can it bring on to attack as well?
Interesting 6 pick by Nocturnes. We see Poison go from Hibana to Osa. I mentioned earlier, and this is still valid, that cosign, you can be a bit more flexible with your attacking picks, right? You can bring Osa if you want to. Of course, hope you have a plan of how to bring her, assuming they do. But you can bring somebody like that. However, getting rid of the Hibana, especially on hookah and billiards, on the one hand, I do get it, because Swaylin is playing Bandit. He's going to put all of his Bandit batteries, assuming he puts all his Bandit batteries on that quad wall. So you would have to find some way to take down those Bandit batteries. But yeah, that's what I was going to say. You could maybe lifeline below if you wanted, use a grenade from below, even send a grenade in from big window once you've cleared ADSs. Now, of course, maybe they didn't want to gamble on that. They just didn't even want to focus on it, whatever. And I'm always excited to see Osa. I will say, Hibana is good on this site. Maybe putting in the extra work would have paid off.
It depends, because again, like I would say Hibana is great, but it depends. I guess if one thing we didn't see from One Shot on their run when they attacked this was using big window. So as long as they use Osa and use the big window, that could be the opposite side of not bringing Hibana.
That's true.
Using that big window to use rather than opening up the wall.
Kilo has used all of his impacts, so unless they want to use a C4 to destroy that shield, it's probably staying up.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be if you put that on big window, you play it off of it. That could be a huge way of just denying it, denying angles, pushing out players rather than using. But Lackey with the first pick on the Kilo, though, looks like he pushed into Penthouse, and well, good drone sitting on top of TV. Great start for Nocturnes, and that's now we see if One Shot can bring it back, despite our pre-show talk about them having, not great early rounds.
Well, this could still be a free C4 kill for Swaylin if Exod is not aware of the doom that awaits him. There's also an attacker upstairs, so Swaylin could even maybe not peek up and get a kill on the Lackey as long as there's somebody on that big window. But One Shot might be losing the momentum a little bit. Quartz on One Shot put down to 1 HP, standing in front of that aquarium doorway. So obviously not anticipating somebody moving over to Aqua Balcony that early on, or this early on in the round. He'll pull back and he can use those Kona stations to heal right back up. One Shot Nocturnes do know that Swaylin is currently down below, who can play for that C4 if, and in a likelihood based on where they're positioned, they go for an Aqua take later on. So they do need to be aware of that.
Now we hear the first Osa shield being brought out by Poison, trying to push their way into Billiards. So Swaylin now will be incredibly important to denying this push. If they go for the plant with the Osa shield, they need something to blow, well, either the shield or the person up, or both, in a sense, because looks like there's gonna be a Billiards push in to get that plant down. Especially with the nomad on the board, flanks are probably not going to be possible by one shot. So it's come down to C4. It's come down to denial of the, from the smoke of courts as well, as you go into execute with only a minute left. Looks like that was that impact? What exploded?
I'm not sure what's exploded yet, but Swaylin has placed his C4 in or on the office floor. The office ceiling, technically the aquarium floor, so could see blow up. There we go. Osa shield destroyed. Doesn't get any kills, but it does destroy clearly an important piece of what Nocturnes were hoping for, going for that plant. Poison will plant his second Osa shield fairly close by. Now knowing there's no C4, or no C4 from below to worry about, might feel a bit more comfortable pushing on in. Final smoke canister goes out, so that means Nocturnes will be strapped for time, about 12 seconds they might have, maybe 15 or so, to push into that site, and for one shot, it's a little bit problematic for them as well. With Slippery down, Swaylin will dedicate some time to picking him back up. C4 does not find any purchase on any member of the attack, and with nobody down below, they have to try to take this by gunfights or out positioning the defense or the attack, and it's working so far! Storms pushes up, not only gets the coverage, but the planter as well. We're back to equalization and even a disadvantage for one shot. Swaylin has pushed further and further into the site with no big window coverage. He can afford that. He knows there's one inside of luggage. He has to check this corner. He has to win this fight, and Slothy is just a little bit faster than Swaylin can manage. Nocturnes win their first round on attack.
Oh, that was a great end round when it came to utility-wise, but not having quite the manpower, losing someone early like Kilo. Sure, you still had Quartz on the smoke, smoking out, pushing for time. But again, that first C4 from Slippery, or not Slippery, from Swaylin, destroyed the first shield, but there's still a second shield to be placed, and that C4 could have been used for, well, the eventual plant as well, rather than destroying a shield. Sure, the shield's important, but you were looking to deny the plant and waste time. So I feel like that first C4 run by Slippery wasn't quite as impactful as you'd like it to be. So that's something maybe you should have saved for an earlier, later time, because he's still playing below. There was nobody from Nocturnes going below to clear him out. So if you just waited for the plant later in that round, that could have been what ended the round there and then. But it depends. Again, first part 2, losing Kilo early, not a great start either.
We'll see another 6-pick away from the Hibana to the Yana this go-round. It makes perfect sense here. Probably not really using Hibana on Kitchen all that much. Unless they full reinforce the VIP wall and they hold up there, then you might be wishing you had a Hibana or a hard breaching. But even then, you might just be able to push through the doorway. So again, just hard breaching, clearly not a focus for Nocturnes. Plus here as well, Benny, the big thing we gotta see from one shot, if they want to succeed, denying some of that early round presence for Nocturnes. For Nocturnes, though, just do the same thing, and maybe putting Poison on Yana, getting another player on that entry, though I will say, Poison, not exactly the entry in my mind. You might just be bringing it for the utility instead. But Nocturnes just need to recapture some of that glory from the previous round and continue having excelling entries like Sykes and Slothy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just starting us off well. Slippery looking to maybe be the one to put a dent in that entry for Nocturnes, but nobody's there in a sense, and I wonder if anybody's on a cam for Slippery, if Slippery's on the cam himself. He gets droned out by one of the cameras by someone. He gets taken outdoors. He's going to back off now. Or he can't get out. What is
There we go.
Oh, God, that was scary. But so far, we can see, yeah, because you saw from Nocturnes, they didn't really go for the early aggression. Sure, there was some early fights some of those rounds, but they didn't seem to really focus on the early aggression as a team, per se. We'll see if One Shot does the opposite, and as a team, they're looking to stop that aggression, stop that control. But so far, it looks like maybe not so far. Storms does take a few shots, but he's going to back off immediately, knowing there are a few members, at least, on that hookah balcony.
Still waiting. Nocturnes are saying, hey, anybody going to push? I saw Mozzie fumble with the drone earlier. Anybody still up here? No, we're good. All right. There is a Mozzie who is still up there. He's just in a completely separate area this go around. He's spotted by the Gemini replicator clone, and Poison, the moment it's shot, will say, hey, there's a Mozzie right there. But it's still Kilo. We have 2 rounds in a row, Benny, who's the first to fall.
That is not good. Sure, not as big of a deal, but still losing someone early. And again, we talked about early aggression once again, just time and time again. It looks like Slippery's been droned out, and now we need to see if we can either, hopefully not Slippery will fall apart even farther, because at this point it's trying to reserve that play for later on. Giving now we have to see Nocturnes create to execute. At this point, with a nomad on the board, I don't foresee it being feasible to try and push back up those stairs with Nomad available. So at this point now it's up to one shot to see what the play is going to be when it comes to execute and trying to stop it from happening. Though we see Storm's trying to hold in the Sunrise, and there's two members outside Sunrise looking to push in and take the control to further their advantage in this round.
Well, Storms will just go for a pretty vanilla swing onto the mudroom doorway, and the Twitch just says, no, don't do that. Second kill for Nocturnes. Now one shot, even a more tricky position. Force with 50 seconds left if they decide to play Sight in the 3v5, which is always problematic. But Swaylin is still separated from the rest of his team. He's inside a blue bar. Attackers up top, opening up holes to catch him down below. And there's also two players in Sunrise, seeing if they can get Swaylin. With Slippery upstairs as well, might be able to hit a flank. The Nomad's not at all aware of his position, but no! Doesn't finish off the kill. He still gets it, lands the shots in the end. That could have been a lot better. Swaylin's still completely on red. A bit of lack of intel for Nocturnes right now moving into the final 30 seconds. Still man advantage, still a 3v2 with the Slippery upstairs. How are you going to push in? You got to take this gunfight. Hope you win it out. Quartz wins his one on the site, and now with them pushing on in, Slippery's not watching in time. He's let them get on through. It's on Quartz for the next few seconds, but he's not even bothered by the burden he holds. Nothing shakes this man. He gets a 3K in the final 30 seconds, and he brings back around. That seemed surely lost.
Wow, that was... Again, we talked about early engagements, early round for one shot being shaky. And once again, that same thing here. Poison getting the first pick on the Kilo. Another person going down in Storms who swings later on in the round. It's a 3v5. We're like, oh God, ain't looking good for one shot once again. But then we see...
Actually, dare I say, it was looking bad.
It was looking, dare I say, looking bad. Yeah, it wasn't looking, it looks like, it looks like that slope we're just falling down for the defense because you're in a man disadvantage and we're going to execute. But somehow, Slippery gets upstairs despite there being a Nomad on the board. Not sure how he got there. Maybe he wasn't droned out. Maybe he was never really cleared from the top floor. I have no clue. But he's in VIP. Bushes gets to get a pick for his team. And then droning. One thing, there was nobody droning out that hallway, pushing out from Sunrise. Because maybe it's late in the round. Nocturnes are trying to get into that push. Don't expect someone to be sitting in the corner of the hallway like... who was it? I think it was Swaylin was doing. He gets one picture, he gets the second, but still, he still puts a detriment in the team, brings it back even closer. And then it's Quartz. The fact that the Quartz was able to then get a 3K from there and end the round, really on Quartz for winning the round for his team. Especially when Slippery let one of them go through the hallway, I thought it was done after that.
But yeah, when I said, I was like, okay, Swaylon's off site, you know, there's enemies above him, enemies next to him. Surely he's dead. That was assuming that Nocturnes knew he was there, which clearly is wrong on my part. You know what they say about assuming? Don't do it. And that's my bad. I won't do that ever again. One shot will now try out Blue Bar and Sunrise their defense, as they also, Benny, they said hookah? No. We lost it, and we're not playing it ever again. I'm
telling you, hookah's not the play these days. It is not.
Clearly. I mean, clearly each team are like, they don't know it, but then they play it, they're like, this is not the play. That Benny guy's onto something.
I harped about it during CL, harped about it during SCS when we recast Coastline. It's just, hookahs is not the play these days. Sure, it's still difficult to pick a site because that's Coastline for you. It doesn't matter what site you're on. It's going to be quite the task for the defenders. But I just don't think hookah's play, especially with the amount of walls you can open up with Havana, having Osa now getting in the big window or pushing into billiards.
Well, I mean, hey, not that much of an issue when Poison consistently 6 picks off the Hibana. So
that's true.
You don't have to worry about that part nearly as much. Blue Bar and Sunrise, though, you need to worry about that vertical play, as we said repeatedly with one shot. And Nocturnes probably going for the same thing. As you can see, Lackey is opening up a floor with that hammer, so probably. This is another case where they haven't done their due diligence, have not droned out the necessary things, because Storms had a hole ripped open right above his head, and yet he still stands there, not at all worried. But nobody's peeking it right now, so we don't need to worry about that plot thread nearly as much right now.
It's easy because we saw Nocturnes, fight for this, and I've seen it being kind of a trend recently where teams aren't really trying to keep the top floor whatsoever, not even trying to engage and try and resist or even hold it for a time. Now teams are letting the attackers take control of the top floor, open the floor up, and then my question is, with that floor torn up and hookah and billiards, how do you even stop the execute? We'll see if one shot has something, has the solution in mind that I have no clue of. Because now at this point, Nocturnes are pushing through. I'm not sure if they're aware of one person's security and Swaylin, who's now going to push up, and Slippery now playing in the courtyard.
See, Poison knows there's somebody inside of security, but Swaylin saying, yeah, I know. I know that you know. And you know that I know that I'm not peeking. So let's see what you do. The onus is on you, my friend. And that's how it is for most of the attack right now. They've moved down to office without much success in the final 50 seconds. Haven't been able to put a beat down on any defender so far. And the longer they wait, the longer they go. They don't have flank drones set up in proper positions. If their air jabs are allocated separate places, Slippery or Swalen could pull off a flank into office. You can still meet resistance on the site if the vertical play doesn't work. Like he sends his final nade behind Longbar, doesn't find anything. There we go. Slothy was watching. Swalen tries to make a play. He's cut down by the Zofia. The toxic canisters start flying out. Quartz only has one left. That's about all you need in this position. So the plan is anything but secure. Never mind. Poison just pushes on in, but here's Slip. He's gone unread inside of main lobby. He's trying to find the planter. He finds it successfully. A nice flick onto the second. There's still one in, and Sykes is just not aware. Hello? He killed your teammate. Do you just not care whatsoever? I suppose not.
What?
Simply didn't care. Slippery killed the planner. He's like, hey, man, cost of doing business.
I guess that's the issue with with rounds like that, is that especially when you're the attacking team and you don't get any kills in the first 2 minutes. I guess it's kind of scary going into execute, because then you wonder what's the defending team cooking up to stop us. Though they didn't really cook up anything besides just having one person in courtyard, which I think you'd clear if you're going for it. Well, the thing is, so here's the thing. If you're going for a blue art plant, wouldn't you have someone in the window to deny someone walking through that rotate and from courtyard in?
I mean, it is a little bit risky because if you don't have sunrise control, they get peeked from the window.
True. That's true too, yeah. And at that point, why did they plant so far in? I guess, they planted so far in because of the smoke canisters, right? Because they couldn't plant behind the blue bar. So they were forced to push in to get that plant down. And because they hadn't really had any success on clearing anybody, getting kills, sure, they had the top floor control, but they got no kills. So at that point, they're running into the time bait. They're trying to bait out you bait the utility, go for that plant with time running out. And I guess at that point, that's when things go wrong, because you don't have the drones in place, you don't have the intel to know where they're going to strike from.
I mean, they did have about 4 drones remaining, so maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe those drones were placed in positions, maybe watching more common flanks, like saying, okay, is anybody going to retake cool vibes? Is anybody pushing in from security, looking at those positions?
So nobody's dead too.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody's dead. It's a 5v5. Well, technically Swalen is dead, but
yeah.
Besides Swalen, who still died 10 seconds before that all happened.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. Nobody's on cameras even watching. So the only thing you're relying on to stop anything would be the air jabs, which you only have 3.
However, I will say, sure, you might not anticipate anybody playing directly in courtyard, but do they have anybody maybe having a drone main lobby? See if anyone's holding those angles. Still need to drone out courtyards. See if there's anybody there.
Yeah, even then, for a blue bar plant, isn't that kind of one of the basics though, to just know that somebody's either playing lobby or not even playing courtyard, but just playing lobby too, having someone to watch that if they rotate in there. I don't know, it's hard to say.
Well, either way, some sloppiness, whether justified or unjustified, understandable or not understandable, it happened, and now one shot are on match point. And Benny, my lord, going to hookah. Can you believe it?
I am just. I don't even know how to explain myself even. I don't know what to say even. What is this?
That'd actually be so funny if they won 2 sites. And now we're going to Penthouse.
I don't know. It's it depends. At this point, because you win those other 2 sites, do you go to Penthouse or do you go back to Hook and Billiards? That's I guess that's the debacle now with with Coastline, because you go back to Hook and Billiards, which I think is just horrendous, or we go to Penthouse and Theater, which is different now, but still. We don't know per se, and I think
my boy is dead. My boy is dead. Rest in peace.
Rest in R.I.P. man. R.I.P.
Everyone, let's pour one out for Swalen.
Oof. That was 2 in a row.
Now, listen, we had a. Hold on, let me check.
What's up? Ooh.
No, actually, well, I was gonna make a point, but the kills are happening a lot quicker than I can look at my notes, so I'll just ignore that entirely.
They even entered the building yet. They're killing everybody.
No, they got Quartz on smoke. I guess that's I suppose kind of the problem with Hookah, though. I guess Storms will push in, try to retake Sunrise. Wow, he actually does trade that. Wow. That's pretty miraculous. That did not look like a trade whatsoever. But even if you trade it out, it's still a 2v4.
Yeah, that's you're still going for 1 for 1 in a 5v3. Not helping much at all, unfortunately, because now you have to try and carry the load for the teammates that are already dead. So now it's on Slippery and Kilo to try and stop this with 1:40. There's so much time for Nocturnes to then just push through, make sure they trade the kills, or at least find out where these defenders are at and make sure that they can't have any kind of mistakes or any kind of egregious way for Nocturnes to bring it back.
Well, Benny, here's
not
the nice
Nocturnes.
thing. Oh, well, I was going to say, here's the nice thing. Nocturnes now have lost 2 rounds because they didn't have intel on players in the late round. Clearly, that was not the case, as the Jaeger stuck his face in a doorway right there, unfortunately. And then I believe Kilo died about 3 seconds before that. So clearly, Hookah is not the play. However, that does mean that Kitchen is unlocked.
Yeah, they just gotta win one more round, guys. You got this. You got this.
Yeah.
You got this.
Though that was a 3v5. To be fair.
Oh yeah, that was Quartz. Yeah, Quartz clutched this round. So it's again, we're talking about the earlier round here in Coastline. It's been the talk of the entire game, and it's what's been an issue for One Shot. It's just not been able to get anything going in the earlier round to really keep it even. Like it's been just Nocturnes getting pick after pick after pick.
Keep it even.
Shut up. You said, one thing you said earlier? You said group number B.
Did I?
Yeah.
My fault.
That's why if you go back in the VOD and when you started the stream, you said that, and I just started laughing in the back. I just made a face.
My bad. Yeah, Ferme, I know I said it. We've just confirmed it. You don't need to hop in my ear every 3 seconds ago. Yeah, you did say that.
Did he really?
You did. Lynx, I just want you to know. Lynx, I want you to know. You did say that at the top of the show. I want you to know that, by the way, I know you might not be aware. You did say group number B at the start of the show, and you should feel ashamed. You said group number B, and you have lost your job.
Anyway, so we're going
It's not
back
funny,
to
actually. It's actually quite traumatic.
Oh man, fun times there. Fun times.
So Kitchen's the next side up.
Yeah. So how do One Shot fix their issues?
Attackers need to locate and
Legion. That's how.
Oh, dude, damn.
Don't
Kilo
need to worry.
Legion?
You don't even worry about it.
Yeah. How about this Kilo?
You're
Don't die
chilling at
first.
that point. That's true. Kilo was the first to die, and I believe he was actually playing Alibi, who we 6-pick off of in this round. So clearly he's already like, I died because of the Alibi. Obviously. I don't know. The thing with Kitchen is I want to be like, oh, Nocturnes have to fix, this, and this clearly identifiable issues. And I guess I technically can. I could say, have better late round intel. Actually, yeah, I can. Have better late round intel. I actually want to say that. I mean, I initially didn't think that was valid, but I was like, no, Swalen was sitting in blue bar the entire, basically like half of like 45 seconds. You didn't drone him out. There was a dude upstairs you also didn't really know about until it was too late. They both got kills. So I will say, one identifiable thing. Better late round intel. Well, I'm not gonna
They also gave Quartz like 2 1v1s, and Quartz got a kill on. They didn't know.
That is also true.
Yeah, like Quartz getting those 3 kills was all. One of them was surprised. The player didn't know he was in pantry, but like again, that's intel. You should have known someone's there, or you should have someone with you to get that refrag. These players are going off their own in the late round, which has been interesting because One Shot early have not horrible, but they have somewhat unfortunate or poorly early rounds, while Nocturne seems to have poor late rounds. It seems to be the 2 spectrums right now.
Well, a third of the round is about to pass, and nobody on One Shot has died. Clearly, this is the best case scenario. Is of course joking. If you thought that was good analysis, I'm sorry.
I don't really say that, but they won that Blue Bar Sunrise defense doing that.
Yeah, it's true, but nobody died in the first minute.
Nobody died in the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's also true.
So
And well, I suppose bearing similarities to that attempt, not much has happened here. That does mean though that Swalen still just able to sit inside of office. Storms is facing a little bit of pressure outside of Sunrise, but half the round's now gone. Nocturnes have just taken all the parts of the map where nobody is holding it.
they haven't started that vertical pressure either yet as well, and there's a minute and 20 left. And well, nice shot from Swalen. Nice shot on the Slothy for first pick, and I'm not sure what Nocturnes is doing. Is it because they haven't gotten those opening picks that they're starting to stall, per se? Because they want to get those picks going into the execute?
I'm gonna be honest, I honestly don't know. It's a minute left. They have 9 drones. They do know that, well, there is somebody in office. There's active intel relaying to Lackey that, hey, Blue Swaylin is inside of office right now. But all Swaylin has to do is just sort of waste time. And the intel is not really doing them any favors. Storms gets 2 picks. Slippery gets 1 as well. Eggs out in the 5v1. All of that intel, all that time spent, in the moment they actually try to deal with a defender, it's not successful until Exod's first kill. Nocturne's first kill. Exod's first in this round. You could say the same for either of what I just said. And what does he do? With 30 seconds left, he has to rely on one shot. Instead of 1v4ing, just all peeking him one by one. Quartz has already dropped a good half in chat. Don't know if that was necessary. Might be a little uncalled for. However, the point still stands. Hilo's probably going to win this, and the map's going to end 7-4. I was wrong, Benny. It was Swaylin. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, it's like, it seems to be that issues where if Nocturnes don't get at least an opening pick, like in the last round, they were having issues then going for the execute at times. It's interesting because they didn't run into any issues. There was no roamers on the top floor. There was maybe Slippery going up white stairs, but he then retreated after getting spotted or not finding anybody. So at that point, it's like, why weren't they opening up the floor? Why weren't they creating the execute in VIP/billiards? Not billiards, a penthouse, I mean. What was really going on in the mind there of Nocturnes at that point?
Well, either way, I can't say with 100% certainty, but I can hedge a guess, Benny. We talked about earlier that, or you said, that this map was important to Nocturne's success in the series. After all, I mean, it is their map pick, so like, obviously yes, but also that if they haven't seemed to make many improvements from their previous iteration on Coastline, what hope do they have on more stronger territory like Cafe or Villa? We don't know. They're down 1-0 in the series. We'll just have to see. Before we go, I do want to give a quick thank you to our other sponsor at SCS, Mavix Gaming Chairs. For May, throw up the image. He didn't even wait for me to say it. That's how excited he is about Mavix's new M4 gaming chair. You can get, and other chairs, anyone you want. You don't have to get the M4. You can get a different one. It's the same great product for all of them. And you can get some for as low as $22.22 a month. If you're one of those people who want to pay in installments, you want to pay in bulk, obviously it's a bit more expensive, but whatever your preference for payment, buy now at mavix.com/NerdStreetGamers for a quality gaming chair endorsed by everyone. All 7 billion people in the world. All of the chair. That is a lie. I made that up. However, it is endorsed by Scump, and Scump is the GOAT in his respective esports. So, hope that matters to you, because it matters to me.
Wait,
anyway,
that's Scump?
Benny,
I thought that was easily.
this joke is dead. This joke, like, we don't say that anymore. We don't have that here. Easily doesn't even, he's not even in the scene anymore. He literally retired.
You know, he would remember though. Come on, it's not like he's dead or anything. God.
I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, he isn't dead, but it's an old meme. It's a dead meme. Benny, because of that, 1 sentence, what's happening on Cafe?
I assume this is going to be, well, who starts on defense actually?
Well, tell me.
Receipts. Nocturne starts on defense. So this is going to be interesting to see how their defense goes and if they can go for a 5-1/2. I want to see a 5-1/2.
Well, we'll just have to see. We could find out now, but we can't. Instead, I assume we'll be taking a few-minute break. Let us relax, Benny. Let us all chill for a little bit, and then we'll be back with map number 2 before you even know we're gone.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill them with
Transfers on 1-3. What a passion! It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1/2 for Sir.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. You have to kill them with Lucy.
Transfers on 1-3. What action! It's high noon. There's the 1v2. And 5-1 half for
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. If you missed it, map number 1 was, I don't know if I'd call it a quick one, but it certainly went a little bit quicker than you would like if you were Nocturnes. It was a 7-4. Right, Benny?
Yep.
Was it not?
Well, it was indeed a 7-4, which by the stats, by the round count wise, it seemed close in a sense, but same point, it didn't seem close at times at all.
Oddly enough, it didn't even seem that close, but for one shot early on in the game, it seemed like Nocturnes were having a really solid time on the defense, and fortunately a couple slip-ups led to a 4-2 half for one shot, but again, nothing that is unwinnable, something you could very well come back from. But then it was on their defensive halves where one shot really just started to pull rounds out of a hat. This 3v5 was one big one where Nocturnes made a couple tragic mistakes in terms of intel, and also, again, another tragic mistake in terms of intel, 2 in the late round, and that cost them 2 rounds and got one shot to match point. But ironically enough, despite all that, it was actually probably the best round overall from one shot that won them the map 7-4. So, fitting that it ended on not only a win, of course, but a very positive note for one shot, and that it wasn't just kind of a throw. It was actually a good round from them.
I was thinking, even then, entry-wise too, entry-wise actually saw pretty good from Nocturnes, but it didn't always lead them to win the round, despite that. Which is interesting, the fact that entry stats-wise, it seems like from what we saw before, it was Nocturnes who were winning a lot of those early round engagements, or, I mean, not early, but that first engagement, and they still couldn't win some of those rounds on defense, or not defense, on attack.
Yeah. I second what my friend just said. And you know what? Benny, you're cute as well. I agree with all that. Of course,
Okay.
you can see this. I don't know why I said that. I just felt compelled. As you can see, looking at the stats here, Swaylin, I would say, uncharacteristically not having a very good game, but Swaylin has had so many 20 bombs on Cafe in particular that is kind of what I'm thinking about right now. Because I don't know what it is, Benny, but on Cafe, I'm not joking. I have counted, or I could count, more than one game I have casted where Swaylin has dropped more than 20 kills on Cafe. It's at least 2, maybe even 3 for ones I've casted, and more might have happened. And now we're going to Cafe.
Yeah, so Swaylin on Cafe, Swaylin with the F2 on Cafe has been a thing we've seen in the past.
There's Legion on Cafe.
Terrifying. It's just what is... You want to fight that man. He is out to kill. But so that's the question. That's why I said before, if you don't see them based on our past performances from one shot on this map, that's why I said if Nocturnes don't win that first map of their map, I don't foresee us going to 3 maps. But again, hey, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you are. I'm here to announce that we actually played the game off screen and Nocturnes won, so we're going to 3 maps. Just kidding. That was a lie. I do hope, I will say, not saying I want to see Nocturnes fall, but I do want to see Swaylin keep up that performance, just because it's one of those things where you keep flipping a coin, it keeps landing on the same side, you just keep flipping to see how long it can go. That's like me with Swaylin on Cafe, as I've just seen so many times where he's gone nuclear. I was like, come on, one more. And surely he can't bust out another one. Surely he can't do that. However, on the other side, the normal person in me is like, I want to see Nocturnes come back from this. This is still in very much a developing team. While the majority of this roster, in fact, 4/5 of this roster are 4/5 are the same as they were last stage. I had to second guess myself in my mind for a second. Bringing in Poison, a new IGL, new structure to the entire system, does make it in many ways a completely different team. I don't want to see them stumble out of the gate. I want to see them do well. I want to see them keep it close. Hopefully, Cafe is something that this new iteration of Nocturnes has worked on and they can surprise all of us with.
Yeah, I definitely do that too. Like, I hope they at least keep it close, get these rounds, at least put a fighting chance against One Shot, and show us that there's hope, there's a glimmer, there's potential in this new, I wouldn't say new roster, but at least in the new structure with Poison on the roster, leading them in the team. But hey, anything's possible. See, I don't, because we even saw some great entry stats from the last round. Let's see if they can keep it up here in Cafe. Though it is a very different ball game per se when it comes to attacking Cafe compared to attacking Coastline or defending it.
Yeah, and that is one thing I'll say though. Funny enough, like the first time we saw One Shot play Cafe, it was actually an attacker-sided Cafe. So funny how that works out sometimes. But One Shot had typically on this map trended a little defender-sided. But so if Nocturnes are able to, especially on attack, get that opening pick, make up for some of the shortcomings they had on Coastline that we just saw, could be a good map win for them. Not that One Shot are bad on attack by any means, that it's going to be a 5-1 defensive half and they just struggle to make anything happen on attack. I'm not saying that whatsoever. In fact, if Swaylin is feeling a good day, it probably will be the exact opposite of that. However, Nocturnes, there was a lot workable there on Coastline that we saw that maybe on a more structured map like Cafe, Poison bringing and exhibiting a playstyle that tends to lean a bit more towards structure, maybe it'll actually be able to be better than Coastline, or at least keep it closer. We'll have to see. We're getting the outband phase right now as both teams are ready, and Nocturnes, they're on the brink of losing their first game in SCS.
Let's see how they do here. Defense first for Nocturnes. What are they going to ban first? Is it going to be a Thatcher? Is it going to be a Nomad? Is it going to be a Flores? Is it going to be a Zofia? I'm assuming it's going to be Thatcher, but that's just me.
It's Finka. I'm just going to spoil it right now. It's Finka. It's not Finka.
No.
I was just kidding. No. I didn't know what it was. It was Thatcher. It is Thatcher, as Benny said. Odds are, though we do sometimes see a Flores ban, even a Zofia ban here, I think out of the two, or out of really all the bans, it'd either be a Hard Breach or a Flores ban, would be my guess. There we go. Can make clearing out these shields a little bit more difficult on Cafe, especially sites like Cocktail. You have to focus on, say, taking it out from the window repel or taking it down from that double door. Flores also is just very problematic if you are a defender and you don't want to get pushed out of your positions. Flores is one to take down. Valkyrie, Benny, just Valk. Just
Not
Valk.
too crazy. The question is, are they going to ban Womai here? Because usually when they ban Flores, sometimes the counter ban would be Womai to make it not nearly as powerful for those pixel spots, because you do lose those Terror drones. And like I said, Womai is banned out. So that leaves Mirror on the board though. Some teams you'll see how powerful Mirror can be. You've seen it work in the past. You've seen teams also able to counter it as well. So let's see how One Shot do here, because they'll be attack first, and we'll see. I'm assuming Nocturnes will bring Mirror, but I could be entirely wrong.
We did see Poison bring a lot of Mirror on Coastline, so wouldn't be surprised if he brought it here, especially whereas Cafe is one of Mirror's better maps. Not that Coastline is bad, but considering how much he played it on their defense, I think 5 out of the 6 rounds he played Mirror, I think we'd see it here, but no, actually, we will not. Poison is playing the Mute, and Nocturnes have already used their 6 pick. They have gone from the Smoke to the Vigil on Kitchen. Now, this does make sense, obviously placing a lot more emphasis on that roam, which we will see probably Lackey and maybe Slothy, maybe Sykes, maybe even Exod, but definitely Lackey and 1 or 2 other people moving around that top floor, then moving down to that second floor, and eventually with a minute and a half probably wasted, moving back down to the site. However, that does mean the trade-off to going for that is you do lose out on those toxic canisters, and if One Shot go for, say, the traditional attack of a freezer drop, which could be very easy if Nocturnes open up that hatch, well, then it's not too hard at that. You don't have to worry about the toxic canisters choking off your doorway, Benny.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting because, yeah, the lack of denial when it comes to that play, if they get to that point at least, is definitely severely lacking for Nocturnes. But again, if they have all of that stock into roaming, maybe they'll stick around, try to just take fights, because we didn't see a lot of early aggression from the defense on Coastline. Maybe they thought they're going to try and fix it up and try and do the opposite now. When I say opposite, but at least be more aggressive on that defense, on that early round, like try to take fights and hold things off rather than just backing off at a moment's notice. Though we'll see. Again, we have both 2 players. We have Lackey and Slothy upstairs for the moment on the 3rd floor. Remember, it's on the second floor, at least in Sykes, I see on the brown stairs. So there's that early aggression run. We'll see if one shot even go to elect to even clear it, which looks like they are actually doing that. So you see members going to the top, to the roof. I'm assuming they're actually going to try and clear it, but if they start drawing things out, maybe they see there's a lot of utility on this top floor. Maybe they elect to just go for bakery take.
Well, there are 3 players outside or by the bakery double door right now, so it's not guaranteed. In fact, we do see them pushing in, using some of those X-Kairos to open up the reinforced prep wall, also opening up top of the bakery wall. Their only hard breaching is that X-Kairos, so Kilo already expending, I believe, is that 8 or so, Benny? He's only got one more set of 6 to use, so it could be a little bit difficult to actually...
6, actually.
Oh, he only used... No, he used 8.
Yeah, because he used 6, and then he's dead now anyway. Oh, someone's dead actually. Glacky's dead. I think he used only 2 there on the first one. I can't remember actually, but he made 2 on the top hole right there to get that grenade off. So he used 4 on the prep ball.
Benny, that's 4.
Is that 4?
That's 4. It's the same shape as the prep wall.
I can't tell.
She has 18.
Oh, I'm dumb.
4 plus 4 is 8. 18 minus 8 is 10.
Nah, I can't do math. I thought he had 16. I don't know why.
Nah. You silly boy. You silly, silly boy. Here's what I will say, though. One Shot have not made any attempt, really, to clear out this top floor roam. They have courts watching, and I guess that they haven't really needed to so far. Exod in the 5v3 is like, I need to make a play, and unfortunately, Courts has read into that since 2 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the round. Looking like a flawless, unless Poison manages to get 1 kill, but odds are he's not even going to get a win. He does spot 1, but oh no, he runs out of ammo right as he takes the fight. Flawless round to start out for One Shot on their attack. I don't think they even really needed to do anything, aside from open the wall, I suppose.
Yeah, the fact that they got multiple kills. Well, they got the first kill. They got first kill onto Lackey from just being inside a bakery. Great shots. They killed Slothy, who was playing the vertical angle from below. Great shots. And then they had they had the Habana of Kilo just sitting on the balcony, and the Jaeger peeks their head out. Almost the wrong word there. Peeks their head out, and then just gets shot down too. So it's kind of like, I guess, from that point, One Shot droning out all the aggression, droning out the fact they had put so much stock into the roam, just go for a direct bakery take. And that from there, we need to see NOKTURNS then adapt and start pushing out and start taking fights. And that's kind of the difficult thing to do, just because they didn't have any way to deny the plant rather than just shooting them. That's what kind of happens when you don't bring any C4s, you don't bring smokes, you don't bring any other denial besides only guns.
Oh. Well, they will run it back with a core change to their defense. Instead of having a Jaeger, they will bring Exod on the Cade, so One Shot will not be able to go for a direct nearly as easily as they did last time. Of course, there is a Mute and the Mozzie on the board, but if Swayland is maybe able to evade either the Mute Jammers or the Mozzie Pest, depending on where they're placed, he could still zap that Electric Claw off the wall. So a Bakery Direct is not out of the cards, but it is a lot harder, and One Shot might have to dedicate a little bit more time and a little bit more utility to making one happen. They choose not to go for it. After all, their only option is that Twitch, at least right now, unless they push all the way up into prep. Might go and clear out that realm, and that could be what NOKTURNS are wanting.
That would be the case if you try and force them into a rope clear by using those Electro Claws. That could be the intent here. We'll see as they're looking to play some aggression. We saw a jump out of that small bakery window. Nobody was there to take that fire from the Vigil of Lackey, and a C4 Poison's ready for a C. Was that Poison? No, that's the Exile with a C4 ready to throw it at somebody outside a small bakery, but he doesn't have any intel per se to throw it. He's just basing off sound for the moment. C4 thrown out. Is that the perfect sound? Oh, it's the repel that gets it off, and actually does quite a bit of damage to Swayland. 90 damage to him. He's now on low HP. We'll see if we can get rid of those Electric Claws on site. Because actually, there's nobody on site to destroy those Electric Claws, or no, to stop the Twitch drone.
I believe Poison is downstairs, but Slothy and Lackey, I know, are upstairs right now. It's actually, it's only Poison down below. There is one player coming down downstairs and Exod moving down red, so there are players in positions to help out the site player if need be. It's also a little bit funny that Exod was waiting for the repel to throw that C4, and the player he hit was the player on the ground, not on repel. So
I just got it. I heard it in the background.
There you go. As Benny heard. I heard the sound, but wasn't quite sure what it was. Electric Claw down. Slippery. First pick. He took down the main player inside of the site. And right now, Exod, and I don't know who the other is. It might be Sykes. I'm not too sure. They are off-site right now. Yes, it is Sykes based on the silhouette. They need to move back in. Exod will trade things out. Catch a Swayland playing the bakery window, but a Slippery moves on in. He's not aware of the Mozzie inside of VIP right now. So now that he's taken down, it's all evened up. 3v3. Continuous evening.
Well, now they're saying last time Slothy wasn't able to make much help with those vertical holes, but we see now it's Lackey's upstairs using verticals. Quartz is coming from upstairs, looking to maybe stop anybody from pushing through in a small bakery. But now this kind of leaves a standstill for one shot, because now at this point they have time. They can figure things out. They can see what else Nocturnes has in store for them. I'm assuming they know that. I'm hoping they know it, but they do know. Quartz able to take down Lackey upstairs, so now it's just 2 members on site. C4 in hand for one of them, so they still can deny the plan.
It is important, but is Slothy in a position to? He's playing co-check right now, so C4 not a viable strategy at the moment. He could still push back in. It's only a 3v2. One shot can't cover every angle, and he does make it back in successfully.
Ooh.
Wow! Smoke storms off the face of the earth. I'm not even sure if that was reflex
no.
or intentional, but it doesn't matter as much right now. Slothy has evened and lessened the burden, but still a 1v2. Sykes has fallen, and now he's got to somehow stop this plan from going down. Again, he does have that C4, but no angle to which he can really use it. And Quartz holding the freezer will get the plan off alongside Kilo successfully. Slothy now moving into Bakery, spots one, peeking their head up for just a second, but as opposed to a shot earlier on Storms, he isn't able to replicate that here onto the Hibana. Slowly creeping on in, flashbangs going out. I don't believe Slothy's been blinded for the moment. Might have been there, but it won't stop him putting some damage into Kilo, but it won't stop Kilo putting even more damage into Slothy. 2 rounds in a row for one shot, and they've got all they need on their attack so far.
That was a somewhat close round for Nocturnes when it came to, taking fights, trying to stop that control from one shot, but that Twitch drone doing great work, getting rid of the Electrical Claw, allowing them to push through, not having quite the impact that Nocturnes wanted, because they wanted them to have forced them to take control of the top floor, forced them to taking fights with those roamers, which they need to. Having Twitch drone and using that Twitch drone to destroy the Electric Claw, opening up the wall. Sure, there was some aggression here and there. We saw members like Swaylin trying to push up. We saw members like, Lackey and them, Slothy getting aggressive, trying to take back fights, trying to push the members inside a bakery. But you only can do so much. It's difficult pushing from small bakery into bakery itself, trying to take those fights long range. And the only real denial they had was the C4, because they reinforced that red wall. The only way you could restore the C4 is from that kitchen service area, which just had, Quartz was playing for that misdirection. He's playing from upstairs late in the round, denying Lackey from playing the holes from above, then dropping into kitchen service from the freezer hatch, killing the member inside kitchen service, forcing the fact that now with that control of kitchen service and kitchen cooking, making it difficult for his defenders to come back. So great job, the one shot, for identifying the weaknesses in Nocturne's defense. And we'll see. Well, they're going to try it again. They're going to go for reading this time instead.
And the nice thing here is, well, one shot might go for a fireplace take, which would kind of change what I'm saying a bit, but assuming they go for the standard, which is going for a plant inside of reading, they will be forced to push into this room for Nocturnes, which is clearly what Nocturnes were hoping for in the previous 2 kitchen rounds, and one shot were just like, no, we don't want to do that. This go around, if one shot do want to go for a raiding plant, they'll have to clear out Lackey and, well, I was going to say Sykes, but he's dead. He went for a spawn peek, and Slippery shut that down immediately.
Wow. That is not a great start.
Has Slippery
there.
gotten every single entry kill so far?
No, didn't Storms get the first one?
I couldn't remember if it was Slippery or Storms.
I think it was Storms, so I might be wrong. We have to probably ask the stats guys after this, but I think it was Storms, so I'd be wrong about this.
Well, either way, it's 2 in a row for Slip.
It is true.
Still
is
good
true.
going so far.
Yep, still great so far. I know. At the same point, though, is that really warranted to be spawn peeking? I don't know, per se.
It's warranted if you get the kill.
Yeah, I guess that's how it works, right? If it works, it's not dumb. But so far, it looks like one shot will be pushing this round, looking to push these players out. First, of course, is be the pixel area. So, of course, burn the 8 aces, push out the player, destroy the Vulcan shield. And there it is. Vulcan shield destroyed. Though there is now another laser gate after it, and that will allow for the player in Malusi of Slothy to push back towards Lumber. And that's just the first part. That's the end. Just step by step to try to take control of this top floor.
Well, Step's going fairly well so far. They will start to run into some problems. The Mute Jammers choking out and denying intel for one shot that they will have to deal with, but so far has been too much of an issue. Only part of the X-Car was opened up, funny enough, because of that Mute Jammer, the way it's placed and the way that jamming radius propagates. So, unfortunate there, but Slippery still has a hole made, and he is probably more focused on Lackey on white stairs right now, as he's slowly starting to push up. There's only one player left on that top floor, and right as I just said that, they hop down to the bottom floor. So with 15 seconds left, one shot can move all the way over to Kakuya. Oh no, there's still somebody there. Never mind.
Look at maybe get a pick, because if you can kill the sledge, that'd be huge here. But now he's going to back
And
off.
there he went.
Here's the grenade. He's going to know that's going to happen. But now comes the issue with a minute left. We've talked about this before. We've seen, or a lot of us talk about this. The fact that there's a minute left for now the sledge of Storms to go to work in a 5v4. We're gonna need see some C4, see some kills from below. I don't think there's any C4s left. Unless Poison has pre-placed his. I don't think there's any way to stop Storms from going to work.
I believe Poison already used his, and Sykes died about 0.25 seconds into the round, so I'm guessing he did not pre-place his.
Well, let's hope someone can shoot Storms in the face.
Let's hope somebody can shoot Storms in the face, or if Slippery dies, they start retaking top floor, because you do see Slippery slowly creeping down, and three of the 4 remaining defenders for Nocturnes are like, yeah, this is the play we want to go for. It's not, well, never mind, it does work. Slippery gets 1 before he falls, but I imagine the presence of these defenders is now alerted to the attack. Poison does get a kill from down below. Storm's anticipating somebody swinging him will fall off the vertical holes and hold the white stairs. Fortunately, Poison inside a pillar gets 1, not able to get the second. But can Egazon make this happen? He does still have that top floor, but no, Storms catches him off guard. 3 rounds in a row for 1 shot, even though Nocturnes probably had the right idea for how they should take the rest of that round.
Yeah, that was a great decision late round, but the fact that then you have only person on site's Poison, which he did, able to kill the cover. If you've been able to kill the planter as well, or at least back off and make sure that Kilo can't plant, with that, thinking he can get that plant down. If he was able to stay alive, that could have been due. But still, in the first place, the fact that you, again, leaving all of that control, leaving a minute left for 1 shot to then take that control and go to work. And the first part too, just like going for a spawn peek. I'm not sure if that's really what you want to do against a team like 1 shot. I don't know. Hey, I'm not sure. Sykes is crazy though. He has some pretty crazy shots, but I'm not sure about that one.
Again, it's fine if you get away with it.
That's true. If you get away with it, if you get the kill, we can't criticize you.
It's spawn peeking.
He's also the first to C4 though, besides Poison.
Spawn peeking is consequentialist in nature. If you get a good outcome, it's good. If you get a bad outcome, it's bad.
I know it depends. Well, even then though, it's like he doesn't want the C4 though. It's like at least have someone who doesn't have C4 go for that spawn.
Counter argument, it's Sykes.
Yeah, I guess.
Who on this roster is the most likely to win it?
True, that is true. Sykes would be the most likely to win that fight. I do agree with you there.
There you go, youngin. You got this.
He's calling me a youngin.
You're picking up what I'm putting down right now.
Oh my god. Anyway,
we have made progress.
We're going to Bar and Cocktail next, and Nocturnes are looking for a defense to win. And so far, they haven't been able to find one, despite playing Kitchen twice, playing Reading 1 once, and now going to Bar and Cocktail, which we do see the Kite come up from Lackey. So now we're going to see how they're going to be able to deal with this Electroclaw, because Electroclaw in the past for a lot of teams has proved to have been difficult to deal with. Though, well, I'll say that the Twitch on Swayland's really good, actually.
That's what I was going to say. Swayland was able to evade Mute Jammers, and, well, for all I know, there were no Mute Jammers and Mozzie Pests in Swayland's path, but there was a Mute and a Mozzie on the board, and Swayland still got into Bakery and took down the Electroclaw on the Bakery wall, which has been the backbone for One Shot's Bakery takes. On Cocktail, there's no Mute, there's no Mozzie. The only thing that can deny those Twitch drones is if somebody shoots it, which, to be fair, it is a drone. If you see it, it's probably going to die. But if Swayland is able to work in those Twitch drones, and he's done it against greater odds in the past, this Electroclaw, even though it could be very impactful, might not be nearly as so if Swayland is just able to use the Twitch drones like he's been able to do countless times on Cafe before.
Can you shoot an Electroclaw from... Can the Twitch drone shoot an Electroclaw that's in the floor?
That's actually a good question.
Because depending on where they place these, I wonder if they can shoot them if they're somewhere you can't see them or you can't look downwards on them, maybe. Like the Electroclaw on the red wall.
I actually don't know. You might not be able to. You might not be able to look down far enough.
You can also just throw a grenade, I guess, too, as well.
That is also true. You could just throw a grenade, but one is more important than the others for Cocktail.
True, yeah. Grenades are... Oh, that was a C4. Lackey
Right.
pre-placed it on the hatch, and he just sledges the hatch.
Lackey thought he had the strat there. Unfortunately.
Like, that strat does work, but that only works like at if you're... Alright, they're slippery. Alright, there. And well, Sykes gets that kill and a kilo.
Dude, what is happening?
Yeah, this round has been interesting so far. Like at miss grenade, miss C4, Kilo goes down because of that grenade. I think that is wild. It's been a wild time.
I don't know if the nade had as much to do with Kilo's death, but that was still a strange turn of events for One Shot. And they lost Kilo.
Yeah,
They're Hibana. So even if you get those Electroclaws, probably doesn't really matter anymore. You'd get like 10 points, maybe 5 for destroying utility. Beyond that, can't really do anything now with that. You just got to focus on clearing out Pixel, clearing that shield, and pushing up Whitehall or onto Newbalk.
It's now Call of Duty.
True.
Well, and they say that Slothy the first another pick on the Storms, and it's fallen apart for one shot, especially after losing the Herbana, like Snake's talk about, can't open the walls. And like I say, Slothy got a pick from below through those holes onto a player walking into Cigar. So this is an issue now where now at this point the intel, and if one shot can keep themselves mentally focused in this round now because they're down 2 players and they got to figure something else. And how many drones do they have? They have 6 drones. They still have some intel. They still have some time to work with. But there's still quite a bit on the board for Nocturnes to just deny them entirely.
Yes, but 6 drones, 50 seconds left. Of course, if Nocturnes are able to get one more kill, round probably isn't winnable at that point. But we're on that fulcrum right now. We're balanced. We're on that edge. One kill could swing things one way or the other. Sykes down below doesn't have a C4, but could still impact or hold pillar and peek up if he wants to, with Swalen slowly creeping in. Nocturnes have got that 3rd kill, got that 4th kill as well. But Swalen has still made his way on through, but the odds of him actually winning this, not nearly as likely as they once were. We'll pop the Goyo shield after that first kill to make pushing into the double door a lot less viable, but it's still a 1v4, and he can't account for everything. First round goes the way of Nocturnes, and I didn't expect it to be that good.
That was just a wild amount of interesting things going in the beginning there. And then there's losing, lose the first player in Kilo. They didn't drone below, allowed Slothy then play below inside of Train, get another pick onto Storms. And then from there to 3v5. From there, it's one shot now needing to push through, not having a hard breacher to open up Freezer, open up any walls, allowing for member like Nocturnes to play in those entrenched positions. And having to push through utility, push through Banshees, push through, Goyo shields, having to destroy them as well. It's unfortunately with the time ran out at that point too. Not much one shot could do. Great job to Nocturnes. Let's see how they do once again, going back to reading in Fireplace, where they this time, hopefully, I'm not sure, do they stay longer upstairs or what do they do this time to make it so that one shot aren't able to create and execute?
Well, sorry. I yawned right as I started talking. Assuming Sykes doesn't spawn peek like he did last time, we have a 5v5 going into the round. I imagine once he's there, they probably hold out for a little bit longer, plus they have another C4, so if he does go down, he can still C4 from below, so it should be a little bit more difficult to take that top floor. I think if he stays there, they'll probably hold on to it a little bit longer, maybe get a little bit more aggressive, but I don't really see them putting any... I think they have... Do they have one reinforcement bathroom?
Yeah, they had one. Yeah, they won.
Okay. It was on the left panel and it was reinforced the other way, so I couldn't tell if there were just artifacts on my screen, but no, it is reinforcement. So they could push up if they wanted to, but they don't really have the setup for it. So
I think that's I think it's better to go into not a 5v5 into the execute, really. Even if it's bloody, even if you lose players, at least get some kills and make it, not have the utility to go for the execute later on in the round.
I guess they will be.
And it looks like, they're trying to stick around. Sykes isn't peeking out the window for a fight early on. Maybe looking to deny someone rappelling onto those windows, as they're probably going to try and take control. He's just sitting here on stage. It's such a...
This is a risky position, but...
It's such a position. It depends, I guess. If they're not playing 2 different angles and he's able to play one window, he could go for the kill.
Yeah. If they're not playing 2 different angles, if their intel's a little bit sloppy, he could get a kill there, but he backs off early on. That is sometimes the risk with that position. Players will overstay their welcome and end up getting taken down. This go around, Sykes is like, I've made it 45 seconds. I'm not making it 45 more. I'll instead pull down. Nice thing there as well. If Slothy's able to relay some bit of intel, he could even play for that C4 while he's downstairs inside of Train if he can.
Nope.
First pick, though, goes on to the other C4 operator. Quartz just, sitting outside a doorway, catches the mute. Moving around, I believe, either inside a site or inside a pillar.
I'm assuming inside of sight? No, he's a door. He's at the door looking to get aggressive with a shotgun.
Ah, unlucky.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes they're not expecting. But Quartz had either drawn him out, and Quartz with another one onto Lackey, also downstairs, playing for those different angles you're not expecting, looking for a misdirection where, Nocturnes aren't expecting you to be. So 2 picks, 2 Quartz to start the round off, and now we're going to see members from Nocturnes get aggressive right here, just right here on a Slippery. Slippery goes down. Storms actually goes down to Exxon. Those Storms did trade off with a grenade.
That could have been it right there for Slothy, but unfortunately, not only did a nade land at his feet, he gets downed just before that, so Slippery can easily finish him off. Sykes stuck. 1v4. One player actually up above on the cocktail balcony. He doesn't see him. He does smoke Swalen, barely even aiming down sights for that one, but it's still impactless by the end. 4-1 for one shot right now. And I will say, as Slothy pushed up White Stairs, I think it was winnable, but there were still plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, losing 2 players early to Quartz though, I'm not sure what Poison was doing exactly. Maybe he's expecting to get, because again, we've seen one shot do
getting
solo
active.
plays. We saw in Coastline where like we saw, I think it was Storms who walked in by himself and hookah and dies Lackey. We've seen those solo plays one shots, so maybe he's trying to get aggressive, trying to find a weak point in one shot's entry, which does make sense. But being the person with the C4 on site as well, and then getting the second pick as well to somebody who I guess who was playing trying to get that refrag. I'm not sure what the second person was doing. At that point, you're in a 3v5, and the rest of the members are barreling down in a row.
And defuse bomb.
Reminds me of the cookies clip from yesterday too when he was casting.
I saw him send that. I was gonna watch it after class, but I forgot to watch it. What was it?
He was started talking about like the sites on Coastline, and he's like, all the sites are difficult. He started just like random stuff in the middle of his like point. It just sounded like gobbledygook.
Well,
Seconds remaining.
no offense, Benny. That also did not explain to me whatsoever what was so funny about that cookies clip.
Oh well, again, I can't imitate cookies though. You have to
No,
like cookies.
I'll watch it after the game.
Yeah, like anything that Cookies does, it's hard to replicate. He does
That
things
is true.
so
He is-
funny that you can't replicate it. It's just
He's
he's a wild card.
He's just such an incredible person.
Yes.
Can't even come close.
He just the things he says, the way he does things, you just can't replicate it. It's just hilarious.
You know what? Hey, another way One Shot does things.
Well,
They usually do bakery takes.
so they're doing the bakery
They
thing?
usually do bakery direct takes, and Nocturnes this go around. They said, Cade, and no. Doesn't matter. We know that wall's getting open. We'll try to adapt around it.
They're actually not putting too much in the roam this time. That's actually good. They're actually going for a more, first floor roam, sticking around the site. Though I will say, even if they have this control around the site, as long as they don't deny them walking in and taking these fights and winning them from bakery, it's not really going to matter per se. But we'll see again. Again, I can tell you wrong, but again, it's going to be up to winning these fights when they open the wall up on these players pushing in the small bakery into prep. Oh, and Poison's going to be, looks like he's just, ooh.
That was the demon in him was starting to speak. He was like, yes, I'm going to peek 3 people pushing prep. I've got this. Thankfully, he backed off. They were like eggs out. I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe. The Poison, your utility's too important. Plus, One Shot are already making great progress into the site. They can start, well, now they've opened up the bakery wall, they can start focusing on other areas. Courts, holding the VIP window, for example, can watch out there, see if you get a pick on the Sykes. Kilo opens things up on the Slothy.
Oh.
Ooh! One taps Poison. I don't even think he expected to get that kill. That was just icing on the cake at that point. And that smoke does go down, though not maybe from being aggro. Exod does get aggressive in code check, and he gets a kill for his troubles, though just take a lot of damage in the process. Still going to require a lot more work to stop One Shot, not only from winning this round, but also to push them either back out of the site or stop their momentum. You can see One Shot have already pushed in. They're already inside. Exod's presence is known inside of Kochek. Quartz is watching this angle. Is there a C4? Is there? No, Lackey's not in place. Storms catches Exod, finally moving out. Bomb's gone down in round number 6. Sykes makes his way out from Freezer into the site proper. Lackey fortunately can't win his fight with Kochek, so it's all left up to the Malusi. He's got 1 kill, but again, if you can't clutch it out, it is impactless. You have to get 3 kills and a diffuser all in that time. He's already halfway there, though. Cuts the head off of Storms, but he's lacking intel right now, and he does not see Quartz right in front of him. Right around the corner, I suppose. It's a 5-1 half for One Shot. Benny, it's not looking great.
Yeah, I guess I said 5-1 half, and I meant for them, but it was One Shot instead on their attack. But hey, maybe Nocturnes their attack will bring it back. We've had attacker-side cafes in the past, but that round was just, again, this is why like we've seen so many teams bring Echo on that site specifically for those situations, so that you can then pause the plant, allow for your teammates, if they're alive, to then get in positions to stop them, to flank, to get aggressive. Because otherwise, like in a situation, nobody was in a position to stop that plant. Nobody's in a position to throw a C4. Throwing a C4 either way on the first floor, on that same floor as the opponent, is difficult to do. And, well, there's no smoke either. Someone's watching coat check as well, so that's why I see that having someone like a Maestro, maybe those cameras, having the Echo, the Yokais could be impactful there. Hard to say, but hey, we're going to defense for One Shot now. We're starting off on upstairs on bar and cocktail.
Bomb located by attackers.
I believe they will be going for the hold inside of the humidor. You can see Quartz putting some... No, that's not Quartz. That was Storms? That is Storms, sorry. That was Storms opening up holes. I couldn't tell there's a mute and a smoke on the board. From a distance, it's a bit difficult. But that in combination with the Rooney place of the double door. No castle. Oh, wait, no, there's a castle. I'm stupid. I'm blind. My mind literally thought there was Pulse for some reason. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
There is a castle, so they will go with the full strength of that setup. Sometimes we'll see a Warden put in that position just to try to stop any flashes, but in terms of the gun you're putting in that position, it's the same.
Yeah, both have the same shotgun here at the new end anyway, so. It's just having, having the glasses before having the smoke, so he could have used smoke canisters instead to stop the push or stop the drop down the hatch.
I need glasses. I thought Kilo was Pulse for some reason.
That's true.
I don't know how
I will
that
say,
happened.
it's interesting to use the smoke in hand instead, because that is one thing, because usually we've seen people actually be able to drop down the hatch and not get shotgun, because they kind of fall and go to the right as they fall, allowing them to get out of the way of the shotgun. So maybe having the smoke instead, denying the drop entirely, could be a better instance. But again, maybe those smokes be needed later on if they go for the plant. Hard to say. We'll see what happens, but there's a lot of stock put into this humidor set up by One Shot. And so far, Nocturnes, of course, good in repel. Slippery looking to run out and deny one of these players. And oh, man. Swain looking to get aggressive. Almost gets his head popped off.
Yeah, that was very close there, but he bobs and weaves. He makes it through. He knows that the shield's not long for this world. 2 kills happen, one for each team. Lackey got 1. You got Kilo. You got the castle. I knew that one. Then Storm's able to get a shotgun kill here after. So I will say, out of the 2 kills that have happened so far, probably favoring One Shot. You lost Kilo, who's already placed most of his utility. And you've lost Lackey with 2 sets of nades. And most importantly, that position that Storms is playing still fully intact right now. That's changing pretty soon.
Oh,
Castle
no.
barricade blown up, a Runa gate destroyed. What is Storms to do? Usually rotate back, but now he's put himself in a bit of a tricky position.
Usually you drop down the hatch, but he seems to have opened up the hatch, so he can't leave.
Ooh.
And now he's just kind of stuck. He used up all his smoke canisters to try and stay alive. Great intel on player. Heavy damage, too slippery, but he's going to back off, stay alive. So that's unfortunate. And he's actually really, wait, he just returns the humidor. There's no way he's going to stay alive here. Oh my god, he's trying to, he's flirting with death.
He's almost, okay, I was about to say, if he gets a kill there, I will be amazed. I would have actually been stun locked if he got a kill there. He doesn't, though. It means 1 shot on the man disadvantage, but Storms was able to hold on to that position for 2 minutes. And even though Nocturnes cleared the utility out of Pixel, you can take the shield out of Pixel. You might not be able to take the man out of Pixel. Quartz takes the life out of Slothy with a well-placed C4. Now, Swaylin can get aggressive, not droned playing inside of that position, because again, the shield was destroyed, but Swaylin decided to keep playing there. There's one player trying to get aggressive, but Poison loses this fight. That's diffuser dropped as well, so Swaylin can play his life here, and if he dies, it's an even 2v2. And if he gets more kills, hell, again, to use a recurring theme, it's icing on the cake at that point. You can hold close with that diffuser, and it's difficult for Sykes to win. Exod also all the way across the map. Going for the kills might be the only viable option they have here, with Exod so far separated from the Ash. Nomad's now on low HP as well.
No.
Slippery finishes him off. Sykes the only one left. He flirts with death, and instead takes a dance with a shotgun and stumbles and trips over his feet into the wall. 6-1 for One Shot, as it's not looking very good for Nocturnes. Doubtful they win 5 rounds in a row.
Yeah, the bets are against him at this point. This is not an impossible task, but definitely one that we always don't expect. It has happened in the past, of course, but it is probably like once every 30 games or something like that I see this happen, really. But 5 rounds I have to come back on. Last round, Nocturnes not really able to, well, it was trade early on. Not too crazy. You take one, you lose another, but you lose a set of grenades, which is kind of needed to push players back. And then even then, they were able to get some good kills, actually, and they were for a moment in that man advantage for a second, but the control was lacking. They hadn't really taken control of Christmas. They hadn't taken control of Pixel and pushed through. They hadn't really even pushed into Bar. So despite the kills, the lack of control from Nocturnes going into that last minute or so was really lacking. Especially because, well, I guess it's because, you had the smoke of course just kind of sitting there throwing smoke canisters left and right.
Yeah, Storms used all of his utility.
Bad. Yeah.
But he did waste a minute, so.
Did his job.
Worthy trade-off.
We
can't be judged of that.
Got kills. Killed the guy with grenades.
And on Kitchen, Storms not playing Smoke. This time, he's on mute. Quartz is back on his traditional role of Smoke, though he does sometimes play Echo. I will say I've seen him play Smoke or Echo before. It's Kilo on that position, though. And if they have some of that on-site intel you said Nocturnes were sorely needing.
Yeah.
Or what could have been useful, maybe.
Yeah, it's having some kind of way to stop the plant if they go for that direct take. Because otherwise, like we saw from Nocturnes, how do you stop that take other than just shoot the enemy? And if you're gonna go for gunfights against one shot, well, you're gonna be in for a treat, which exactly we saw. So, and did he shoot his drone? Shoot his teammate's drone?
Honestly, don't know. But would it be a treat, though? Are they in for a treat? Seems pretty sour.
Sour treats are a treat for me.
That is true. Ooh, look at that. Somehow everybody is able to get these mute jammers, these electric claws off the wall. We'll say mute jammer might be a little bit easier to get off the wall than electric claw. I'm not gonna try and gatekeep utility right now, but
gatekeeping expectations
might be a little bit easier. It does have the same effect though. Poison is able to open up this wall very quickly into the round. Use all of his X Kairos, not open up a hole in the prep wall, but half of it is soft, so they could choose a sledgehammer or something to open it up, and going and hitting a lot of the same beats that One Shot did on their Bakery Direct.
But that's an issue though. If they don't put a hole in prep, that makes it more difficult to deal with storms unless they send someone upstairs to deal with him up there and train. Because we saw from the side of One Shot, they got those kills on those players. Either they got from misdirect, where someone flanked that player without them understanding, or they got the kill from prep because they opened up that hole at the top of that single prep wall. Like we see right here, opening up that single prep will allow you a shot, at least an angle onto storms for that fight. So at this point, somebody needs to go upstairs and stop his reign of terror. That looks like Lackey would be that person. There is someone at least to help out the mute of storms nearby. Though I said Slippery will strike first. Take on Exod.
Ooh, Swalen strikes second. I wouldn't say strikes back. He just continues the flurry of blows. Knocks Sykes down. Mentioned somebody maybe going upstairs, and somebody will instead go inside the site. Poison has worked his way on in, but he goes 1 for 1. His position is unknown, but Slothy's position also unknown. Quartz just breakdancing behind, I don't know, behind the counter? I don't know what that was in all honesty, but he loses the fight anyway, so we can stop analyzing that there. Now back to Equilibrium. 2v2. Lackey's pushed his way inside of Small Bake. He gets a kill for his troubles, but again, it's Storms upstairs, who's never been taken down, who with that shotgun created an angle just above the man with the diffuser, and has put the entire series on Lackey's shoulders. Keep in mind, this is not elimination, but if Nocturnes lose this BO3, they are 1 BO3 away from knocking themselves, or getting knocked out of SCS, and that is where they are. Down 0-1 in SCS Stage 2, One Shot instead. They will go play Aerial Arise in the winner's match, whereas Nocturnes will play Wichita Wolves in the elimination match.
Yeah, that was around where I wonder there if Quartz was able to make that pick because they had intel on site like the Yokai. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't see any pings, so maybe that was the case. But still, great work to having that vertical control, using that vertical control against the attackers of Nocturnes, and just overall 7-1 game for One Shot. You see why Cafe was their pick.
The fun fact, by the way, Nocturnes got the opening pick 2 rounds, and only one of them did it result in a round win.
Yeah, Lackey's pick the first round on their attack, and then back in what round was it? 4. Sykes getting the early pick on the Kilo, and that was it.
So I mentioned the strengths. Nocturnes were looking a lot more solid on the entry. Sometimes those points aren't as relevant in some maps as opposed to others. But this is exactly what we want to see. Well, I mean, this is not exactly what you want to see if you're Nocturnes. This is not exactly what you want to see. I take that back. This is not what you want to see. However, this is a good time and could be something we want to see. They can now take these points and work on them going into the next series, because I do think that game against the Wichita Wolves, do they have the chance to lose it? Of course. I don't think it's a guaranteed series. No. But there were still plenty of workable parts of Nocturnes, both attacks and defenses, in their performance in this series, that I think they definitely could come back stronger in their elimination match.
Yeah. I think either way, it's still a time to. It's the offseason. This is still another league. It's not
shaking off the rust.
They shake off the rust. They have time to fix things up before CL starts, and this is great practice to do so. So I think there's still a great chance for them to work out. And before they play Wichita Wolves, they still had close games, and I think it'll still be a close against Wichita Wolves when it comes out next week when they play them. But it should be another game where they can show off what they've learned in these games, what they've learned to, the mistakes they've been able to fix, and show it off against Wichita Wolves next week. But it'll be interesting to see One Shot play the Pug Stack. I don't know. Do I say Pug Stack in ROIs?
I'm gonna be honest, Benny. I don't really know. I don't really know what to call that team, because it is Aerial Arise, but it was formed as a Pug Stack. I really don't know. I don't know what to call it. I'll call them Aerial Arise. How about that? We'll agree to call them that. But it certainly will be, obviously, they might not be a pug stack. I don't know exactly how they're referring themselves. It will be definitely a more aggressive team. That is something that One Shot, again, they like their aggression, but it's always disconcerting to get a taste of your own medicine. We'll see how they deal with that in the winners match. For the rest, for the next couple minutes, of course, we have some map stats to throw up. How did One Shot perform on that map, Benny? Well, they 7-1, so good. They all performed well.
Yeah, they 7-1. They had what? They had 6 entry kills compared to Coastline, which they didn't have as many. So much different game. Everyone's cost was crazy. 2 objectives for Kilo. So overall, much different than Swaylin. Oh, Swaylin didn't have the game you wanted him to.
Yeah, he unfortunately did not drop 21 kills in 8 rounds. Surprise, surprise, didn't happen. Quartz had a nice game though, 11-3 for him. So for somebody who, well, though I guess he wasn't even really that aggressive on the attack. He was kind of like the flank watch Ash almost.
No, he was the flanker more than anything really.
So for somebody that really wasn't that aggressive throughout that series, one on attack, but especially on defense, because I mean he's the site player on defense. Pretty good that he ended up 11-3. Even got an entry kill in there. That's just extra. He didn't even need to get an entry kill. But he was like, nah, I'm getting one. I think he got it. He got it round 5.
Oh yeah, round 5. Yeah, he got it onto poison.
Look at Benny. Look at Benny. There's notes like that in front of the camera. What a silly boy. Anyways, we have an interview up with our 11-3 player, our support genius, our flank watch Ash. We have Quartz to give an interview and talk about, well, whatever I ask him. I haven't decided yet. Quartz, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How are you doing, Lynx?
I cannot hear him. Quartz, I think you're muted.
Am I? Am I muted?
There you go. I can hear you now. The stream
sorry.
could hear you, but I couldn't. So that's the most important part.
Okay, well, I said I'm feeling great. How are you feeling, Lynx?
I'm feeling okay. It was a quick one that you gave us, so I get out of here a little bit earlier. I guess that's nice, but I was hoping for a little bit more of a close one, but you really came out of the gate just swinging, didn't you?
Yeah, we played pretty well. I mean, we're playing against Nocturne. We're kind of rebuilding right now, so it's hard to judge like their true form, but yeah, we're happy with the result today.
Well, I think definitely, I kind of asked you a similar question last stage. It was around the time you guys were competing in invite quals. I'm going to ask you something similar again because closed quals are coming up. So stage 2, going to be a good testing ground for you guys to kind of iron out some issues moving into not only the rest of SCS, but also you do have those closed quals on the horizons. What are some of the issues that your team has kind of been facing so far that you're looking to hopefully iron out over the course of the stage?
We've been focusing like a lot on comms recently, and we've made some role changes a couple of days ago, so we're just trying new things out. We were running like pretty much the same shots for like the entirety of stage 1 of SCS and then CL and everything. So now we're just back on the grind. We're trying new stuff, and then we've been feeling pretty good. So yeah, it feels great. But our comms is definitely what we've been focusing on.
I assume again, maybe it's not true. It is only 2 maps. I believe the role changes. Swaylin no longer on Breach. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Swaylin and Kilo kind of swapped roles, so yeah, I think it makes more sense that way, because then Kilo is more towards the push, and since he's our IGL, and makes more sense. He's just calling more, and then Sway's just, he can do whatever he wants and then just frag people. So
well, I did mention I've casted multiple games where Swaylin has dropped like 20 kills on Coast or on a Cafe. Sad we didn't see another 20 bomb today, but hey, I mean, you guys still won the game, so doesn't matter all that much. But your next opponents will be Aerial Arise, that not like the team that played in CL, but like the new iteration that Benny and I don't even really know how to describe it nowadays. Definitely a team that I imagine you guys are probably going to be swinging every single gunfight you try to take. What's the kind of mentality do you think going into that match? How do you plan on maybe dealing with whatever the hell they're going to throw at you?
I mean, I don't want to give it up, but we've been pretty good in the
course.
past at like dealing against aggression or pug stack teams like that. We've been like really good at it, so we're just gonna keep doing that. We don't have to force things. We just kind of have to let them make mistakes and then not play into their game, but just focus on ours, and then should be fine.
All right. Well, I know I'm excited to see if you guys can make it back into playoffs a little bit earlier than you did last stage. Eclectic gave you guys a little bit of trouble. They are not here anymore. So anything you want to say before we sign off about SCS, invite quals, or just something you feel like talking about?
Yeah, I mean, those SCS tournaments have been really fun. So I want to thank the organizers once again, because I don't think you guys are getting enough credits. I mean, you too, obviously, but I would say everyone like behind the scenes, because those tournaments are really fun to play, and yeah, you'll see One Shot playing in those.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Quartz. You also had a very good day today, especially on Cafe. So congratulations. Looking forward to seeing the rest of SCS and One Shot in the future. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
I always love Quartz. Always such a nice guy.
He's so sweet.
Look at that. 19
so
and
lovely.
look at that. 19 and 9. He got the majority of his kills in map number 2.
He was slamming them. He's slamming on Cafe. He was walking around just playing Ash on attack and playing a different role on defense, just taking fights, winning them every single time. Hey, that's what we want to see from Quartz, really. And I definitely see, yeah, interested to see how One Shot do with these changes. Kilo back on like a supporting role, Swaylin back on that kind of flex entry role. Be interesting to see how they do again, and definitely in close calls against the PL teams.
Clearly, the role changes are working out. 0.92. Very poor numbers, Swaylin. Now you go back to Breach after that. No, I'm just kidding. Just one series. I'm just kidding. Sure, I think Quartz even said it happened a couple days ago, so still clearly new. Still clearly ironing some stuff out, but 0.92, again, not bad. Somebody's got to be the lowest rated today. Swaylin was the one who took the fall.
And unfortunately, yeah, NOKTURNS also still rebuilding. They're still figuring things out with the new IGL and a different maybe structure in their team, so they're still looking to change things up, bring their team around. But hey, that's the start of it. They still have 2 more matches to play here in SCS and still things to iron out, which is good to see.
Yep. We still have 2 more matches. We still have 1 more series tonight. Before we get there, again, just want to thank Mike and Ike's one more time. You'll hear another. I'm sure you hear Connor and Cookies. I believe it's Connor and Cookies next up.
Correct.
Yes, it is. It's Connor Cookies next up. You hear him talk about it a little bit more. But Mike and Ike's, they've always been here. They've always been our friend. Our loyal supporters. You can get either the sour mix if you're Benny, or anything but the sour mega mix if you're me, because sour candy makes me hurt and it makes me uncomfortable and I don't like it. But I'm okay with the original and the mega mix because I just like my fruit flavored candies, specifically lemon flavor, by the way. I don't know what it is, but I have always loved lemon flavored fruit candy even since I was younger. I don't know why.
That's interesting because isn't lemon like usually sour too, actually? Like besides candy, I guess.
But like, it's very interesting because the lemon candy, yes, it is a little bit sour, but it's like it's manageable. It's like the difference between having like spicy food that's like it's a little bit of a kick and some extra flavor, and then like the Carolina Reaper chip.
That is true. That is much of a difference there. So it's like I guess I can see what you mean. You want just a little bit, there's not like a huge amount.
Well, if you want a little bit more SCS, we have 1 more series at the end of the night. See what I did there? I thought that was pretty clever. But you won't have any more from me. You'll have C-Daps and Cookies to take you through the next series in just a few minutes after this break. So goodbye from me, goodbye from Benny, and hello, Connor and CJ, in just a few minutes.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and Hill got it!